Start your day with Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal. The instant oatmeal ready to help you tackle whatever your day brings. Like wrangling your toddler into their car seat. That was fun. Coaching your 6th graders soccer team. Go girls! And carrying all the groceries in one trip. Whew. Try Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal, Granola, and Bars. Great taste and a good source of protein. Quaker, bring out the good.
Amazon presents Jeff versus Taco Truck Salsa. Whether it's Verde, Roja, or the orange one. For Jeff, trying any salsa is like playing Russian roulette with a flamethrower. Luckily, Jeff's saved with Amazon and stocked up on antacids, ginger tea, and milk. Habanero? More like habanero, yes. Save the everyday with Amazon.
Live from New York, it's a show that's disappointed that we won't see Steph versus LeBron tonight. Steph is out, bro.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, I guess they're saving him up for that playing game. I mean, it's big. They want to, look, getting into the final 8 for them would be great, like a real achievement. They get blasted in round 1, but
yeah.
That would be fun to watch Steph and Draymond take on the Thunder. It wouldn't go well for them, but they're going to finish like 38 and 44 and out in the first play-in.
Yeah. Oh,
and we're not going to see Steph versus LeBron once all year.
More on that story, but maybe they team up next year. Coming up on
that.
the
What
hour.
would that be, Wilds? Delicious. You should know that. You should know that's my word.
That hasn't been established in the show. You've done that.
You haven't been paying attention.
I pay attention.
I knew it.
Nick knew I was
You
gonna
did
say
not know
delicious.
it. You would have jumped it.
He knew I was going to
Josh,
say
did
delicious.
you know that?
He wanted to see it.
We got to talk about what's on the screen. They get mad at us.
Reuben Bain Jr. visiting the Chiefs. Is defense the key to Mahomes' delicious renaissance?
No, you can't try to.
Meanwhile, Tatum's back to New York. Jaylen Brown out with
Something.
Achilles tendonitis.
Yeah, tendinopathy.
What?
That's what it's called.
You know
Who
what?
said that?
Achilles.
I would really be frightened if these were real.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, oh my gosh.
What?
Like these injuries, if they were
Achilles tendonitis isn't necessarily an Achilles. It's more tendonitis.
Yeah.
I know my
it's
wife
just-
has that
it's
from
a
playing tennis.
management.
Oh.
It's like your whole hamstring. And finally, the most motivational segment in all of sports, the Bud List. We might have to update the Bud List.
Yeah.
Update the brothers?
Well, you're hearing all of this new stuff. Nick invented a word for Achilles tendonitis.
I didn't invent
Steph's out.
Okay.
Sorry, Kevin Wilds, Nick Wright on a power-packed Thursday show. We've got so much news. We almost did 4 hours. We start in LA. Thunder clip the Clippers, 128-110. Chet goes for 30 and 14. Lots of assists from SGA. Thunder take the number 1 seed for the 3rd straight season, Brew. Last team to do it. The Dynastic Warriors. Here's SGA after the game.
It's impressive. Like, you obviously, none of it means anything if you don't win in the end, and we know that. But the teams that win in the end have some of the same characteristics and traits and check out the same boxes. So checking out those boxes is kind of just like knowing we're headed in the right direction. Obviously, we're far from the finish line where we want to go, but like I said, it lets us know we're headed in the right direction.
Good company here. Number 1 seed in 3 consecutive seasons.
You stole this from Cool Stats.
Dynastic. No, this is different, isn't it?
It's very similar. It's the same list of teams.
Dynastic Warriors, the Dynastic Lakers, and the Dynastic Bulls.
That Lakers team wasn't
Not that one.
That wasn't dynasty.
Went
to 3 straight finals.
That's
won
mini
2 of
dynasty.
them.
That's
Mini dynasty is,
Yeah.
you know what else? Another phrase for a mini dynasty.
A back-to-back champ.
Yeah. Not a dynasty.
Yeah.
Kobe Shaq was a thing.
That
was
I'm
3
I'm
straight.
sorry,
That
that's
was
too
my
late.
point.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Kobe
this is
Shaq
just
was
this
a
is
dynasty.
Yeah,
Kobe
that's
Gasol.
Kobe Powell.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kobe Shaq thing was
Sorry.
a dynasty.
Oh yeah,
That's why I'm saying that.
very miniature.
I mean, it was, look, back to back.
Sorry,
It's a Thunder on Dynasty Watch. I was like, 07-10.
Well, look, based on, I think, let's establish what's a dynasty. All right, I think at least 3 rings.
Correct.
All right. and with the 3 rings with the same like leader, right? Yeah. I think there are some clear-cut dynasties.
Love it.
Russell's, I knew Nick will love this.
I'm excited for this.
Bill Russell's Celtics of the 60s.
They won 11 out of 13 years.
Yeah, that's a dynasty.
That qualifies.
Yeah.
The Showtime Lakers, because they did go back-to-back and they won 5, right? Jordan's Bulls.
So before you keep going, I want to include teams that aren't included. So that like.
I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. Jordan's Bulls, the Shaq Kobe Lakers who three-peated. Jordan three-peated twice, and then Steph's Warriors, 4 championships in 8 years. All right. Now, these are, some people would consider a dynasty, maybe dynasties, iffy, arguable dynasties.
Mini dynasties.
The Birds, Celtics.
And I would not. I would say no.
See, I hear you. I tend to think of them as a dynasty. Maybe it's because it was Bird and him and Magic and they resurrected the league or whatever. But 3 and 7 years, 5 finals in 7 years.
But so
that'll do it for me.
Here's the question, though, that I have, and it maybe will end up applying to the Thunder, which is why I'm bringing it up. And I was trying to litigate the 80s, KW. Don't get mad at me. Can you have simultaneous dynasties? Because if the Magic, what he's calling the Magic dynasty, the Magic Kareem,
special carve out for
80
Magic
to 88. And then the Bird thing would be 80 to 80, like 86.
I do think you could. I do think you could. The question is, would Bird, his team qualify? Because if you got, say, 2 teams dominate a decade, which they did, and one wins 5, one wins 4, and both are back to back. It's kind of.
But they didn't win back to back.
No, Bird didn't win back to back.
There was another team that also did go back to back in the 80s.
Right.
No, I'm talking about the Pistons.
Oh, yeah,
in the midst
of
it. Well,
because teams went 20 years without going back-to-back before the Lakers. The Duncan Spurs. It's 5 rings, never went back-to-back. But I think maybe it's a Duncan dynasty. But I just think of them as a dynasty, like.
Correct.
Right? I mean, they were 50 wins for 15 straight years or whatever it was, and always in the mix. But anyway, my point is this. It's way too early to say a legitimate dynasty, all right? And I don't think they'll get to be a legitimate dynasty. Could they be a maybe? One of these, could they win 3? I could definitely see Shea winning, say, 3 championships in 8 years or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now, and does that, now I'm not saying it's easy, I'm just saying I could see it. But the only team that I think is on dynasty watch, and this is, it's premature, but
unbelievable.
The Spurs.
Oh my goodness.
Hold up.
They haven't won one playoff game.
Absolutely.
How can the defending champions? The whole thing is based on being the number 1 seed 3 straight years.
It is. Look, y'all can be behind if you want.
No,
I've been out front of this.
I can't believe this
since pre-draft. I have been out in front of this since the pre-draft of 3 years ago.
I can't believe this.
They are on dynasty. Here's the watch. This is what we're watching.
Okay, I'm watching.
Will Wemby be healthy, have a healthy career? Because if he does, they're going to be a dynasty. And it's not just him. It's Castle.
Yep.
It's Fox, who's a little older, but still. And Dylan Harper. That team is stacked. And if he's healthy, a normal career.
Sure.
I think they're going to be a dynasty.
So,
or at least that's the team to watch. I think they'll be better than
What about
Thunder.
the current champions who are the number 1 seed?
The current champions better hope the Nuggets take out the Spurs in the second round. I'll tell you that.
I can't believe
They better hope that.
So, all right. So, I also think, because you didn't even mention, and I agree with it, by the way, but I think it's worth mentioning how hard it is to become a dynasty, that LeBron Wade.
They didn't even,
went to 4 straight finals, won back-to-back, and they didn't even make your,
maybe.
Honorable mention dynasties. It was they were the defining team of that era, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's not a dynasty. I do wonder if the barrier for entry for dynasty lowers. And this is something I was
because of the current NBA climate.
Well, because this is a very simplistic way to look at it. But as time has gone on in the NBA, the maximum championships a team can win consistently goes down. And here's what I mean, Brew. Just follow me.
I hear you.
So
I've heard that.
Russell's Celtics in the 60s, They won 11 titles. Like, you just go with the best players, if you will, of the eras, if you will. John Havlicek, who carried over from 60s to 70s, he has the most with 7 titles. In then 70s to 80s, Kareem has 6 titles. Jordan, 80s and 90s, he has 6 titles. 90s to 2000s, Kobe and Duncan, they have 5 titles. 2000s to now, LeBron and Steph, they have 4 titles. Like, as the talent's gotten deeper, as the leagues have gotten bigger,
Pretty soon.
What?
No titles.
Well, no, but I'm saying, I think what we're seeing now is the best players of this era all are sitting on 1.
Right.
There's no
interesting.
multi-time champion young-ish guy.
But that was the case in the 70s. The 70s, it was parity galore. And then Bird, and remember, it had been 20 years before the Lakers of 87, 88.
And so, and I always have a problem with that, is like, how much of that was ABA, how much, I don't know. And so.
But can you stay on that for a second?
Yeah.
It feels like now this is by design, but perhaps with the second apron and Giannis wants to go to a real team, but nobody can make a move for him. So it feels like there's a hard cap, so to speak, on the amount of talent you can acquire. That being said, it feels like the Thunder have hacked the system a bit with their assets.
Listen, I certainly, so that was, I didn't even give an answer. I was just kind of giving the context of that. I think, is it possible that in 2035, 3 championships will feel as heavy as 5 did in, 1995? Like, when Magic had 5, Bird had 3, Jordan had 6. If 10 years from now, one guy in the league has 3, and there's only a couple guys that have 2 that weren't on his team, like, does it get, as it gets harder?
10 years from now, it could feel like, again, we'll see what Wemby ends up doing, but it could feel like that. It just depends on how the league goes. Now, I don't think the gap between 6 and 5, that's not a ton. Now, you're right, LeBron and Steph, the defining guys of this era, have 4. But Russell's 11 obviously is just not happening again. But 6 could. 6 is a ton.
6 is a lot.
But that's why people look at Jordan as the GOAT. You know what I mean? It's things like that
6 is
that make it.
Who can even Shea could get
6 feels crazy now. Now I will give you
Joker.
No.
6 feels nuts right now.
6 feels nuts.
Like, it feels like, hey, no way you go win 6.
And if the Spurs win it, then we'll feel like Wemby's gonna
dynasty.
But I'm trying to think of let's say, even though none of us are predicting it, let's say the Knicks team that a lot of us thought going into the year could make the finals, does, and they end up winning the title. And then it's like, okay, so we have, Anthony Davis got one, albeit with LeBron, and Giannis got one, and the Steph got his last one, and then Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum got one, Shea got one, Joker got one, Jalen Brunson got one, and the Lakers do trade for Giannis. Something it's like, Luka and the Lakers next year, they look like, so where it's not everybody, but most guys have a ring, and not in having 2 rings really differentiates you. If that's where we're going, then I would say definitively the Thunder are on Dynasty Watch, because I don't know that they're going to need. If they're let's say they win back-to-back. I think you're saying
they look like the best team.
Right. If they go back-to-back and then next year don't win it, or the year after, or the year after that, and we just have 3 different champions. And it's like, okay, so for a decade, the only team to come close to defending their title was a team that did defend their title.
But I think
I don't
think we consider them a dynasty.
I just wonder if we revise what it takes to be a dynasty in our head.
Sure.
Because think about baseball, where you don't see, you haven't seen repeat and 3-peats and things like that. Well, Dodgers just repeat.
See, that's kind of my.
I would consider the Dodgers.
Are they a dynasty right now?
If they win this year.
Oh,
that's
they win
3
this year,
straight, though.
But I think.
But they're not like the 50s Yankees.
Well, no. Since those 50s Yankees, it's been, since the 70s, you haven't seen anybody run off a run like the Yankees. Well, the Yankees won 3. With the Jeter Yankees, they won 5.
So I just wonder if it's changing. And so, and I also, though, would caution everyone that I understand they didn't have as gaudy of a record. I understand they weren't on that graphic. But at this point, certainly the last 2 years, and I would argue 4 of the last 6 years, but definitely at this point, when not picking on KW because it wasn't the only one saying it, no one was beating Denver in a 7-game series.
Oh, yeah, right.
And last year, Boston looked like, how are they going to lose?
My only caveat was, like, once Bruce Brown left that team felt different, even though I was still all in on Denver. With Horford got another year older, the Porzingis injury was wacky and
nobody, but the Porzingis injury was on no one's radar until the playoffs.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And so I'm saying for the Thunder, like we don't know theoretically what wacky thing might happen.
Well, if the Thunder lose,
they're deep enough to absorb that.
If they lose, though, you would be able to say Jalen Williams wasn't healthy all year.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, if they lose,
and so I think they are very well positioned. And I know that, but I don't necessarily feel like they are massively better positioned than Boston or Denver was. And those teams did not come close.
Boston has been greatly positioned for a while now.
Yes.
They've been to so many conference finals and just haven't been able to get over.
And just those teams both losing in round 2. It's not like they made the finals and lost.
No.
Or lost in epic conference finals. Boston got smoked in round 2 and Denver choked in round 2. And so like that is Milwaukee.
And
when
you
it
got
looked like Milwaukee, no one was stopping them. And Chris Middleton got hurt, and Grant Williams got hot from 3, and Jayson Tatum had the game of his life, and their season's over.
Yep.
In round 2 for them as the defending champs.
We're due, though.
Okay, yeah, we might be.
Due for a repeat champion. Head to Detroit. Cade's back. Giannis isn't. Cade played 26 minutes in his first game back from a collapsed lung. No Piston starter hit 30 minutes. 13-5 in 10. Here's Cade on his return.
Yeah, I felt really good. I feel like I got some really good cardio in today. Everything felt good. I feel like all the training and stuff I've been doing had me in a great place where I was comfortable for all of my minutes. It was different than any injury I've ever had as far as how it progressed initially. A lot of resting. Couldn't get my heart rate up, which was boring. My heart rate went up a few times watching the team, which was, but it was fun. It was fun to be able to watch from a different perspective like that. I think I learned a lot.
Are you mad if you're a Bucks player? So he determined it cardio.
Good cardio against.
The guy's coming back from a collapsed lung.
I'm just asking.
He's literally talking about cardio because his lungs.
Okay.
Like that's how I look at it.
I've been around the NBA for decades. The only time I've heard, "Hey, I got some good at cardio," is an insult.
Okay.
I got some good cardio out there against the Bucks. Giannis was sitting there. Giannis, your uniform is just suit up. All right, how dangerous are the Pistons?
Very dangerous. They are a legitimate Eastern Conference contender.
Well, the number 1 seed, so.
But I think everybody seems to feel like Boston is just the go-away team in the East, the runaway team in the East. First, let me say this. What I liked about Cade last night was he was not like tentative or anything. Like he attacked the rim. In fact, all 6 of his makes came at the rim. Like and remember, the way he got hurt, it was odd because it was like he got bumped
knee
something
in the back.
So you might think, okay, is he avoiding contact like that, particularly in the midsection area? He wasn't. He went to the rack, finished in traffic, all of that. So I love that. But as far as Detroit, because you guys know I loved them, and this was pre-Tatum, but I thought they clearly looked like the best team in the East.
Yeah.
Right now, I got Boston right now as the best team, Detroit second, Knicks third, Cleveland fourth. And we've alluded to it in past a little bit. The injury, assuming Cade has no problems going forward, was a blessing in disguise. Because Knicks man, Dennis Jenkins emerged.
It's like a game yesterday, to be fair. Yeah.
But he showed him something. But the question we had, can they score without Cade? Well, they've averaged 117 points this year a game. With Cade out, they went 8-3, averaged 116.8 or something like that.
Take.
So the offense stayed the same as far as production. And I don't know if this can continue because I don't think they have great three-point shooting, but we got a graphic here. All of a sudden, they're hitting threes. Like, look, October, the first 5 months of the season, they're a bad three-point shooting team. Now, all of a sudden, that's a nice month and a half. They're the 6th best three-point shooting team. If they shoot like that, Nick, they're going to be real tough to beat.
And I would add, I think Boston's the best team. I think Boston, I said a month and a half ago when it looked like Tatum was coming back, they'll Boston win the title. It's one of the reasons is I think Boston actually is one of the only teams that can match up well with OKC. Boston's biggest positional or rotational weakness, my opinion, is their 5, their center. So you run into a Detroit team whose second best player is Jalen Duren. It could potentially be problematic, honestly, for Boston if Denver were to make the finals with Joker. Like the Spurs, it's a little different because Wemby is a 5, but he doesn't play like a traditional 5. But Kata's been a really good story for Boston, but he is right now, as Coach Mancini would say, an emerging player and developing. So I agree with your hierarchy. Team for team, that is exactly how I would stack it. And I agree that if Cade is, and now he has time to ramp up, so to speak, and he can use the week of the play-in to, go 5-on-5, do things. If he's full go by round 1 of the playoffs, then I think they are a conference finals team waiting to happen. I think we are going to get Pistons Celtics. I think the Eastern bracket is more likely to have less likely to have crazy upsets than the Western Conference side of the bracket because I think Detroit has proven all year they're legit. Now, do we think that they are win 4 rounds legit? I don't. But I do think they are win 2 rounds and see how they square up in a series. They have home court against Boston. So, I think they are. When I wrote them off, it was because we thought Cade was out. Cade's going to be out a month and then be a shell of himself when he comes back. Instead, this is like record recovery from a collapse.
I think matchups will be very interesting. I think they would beat up the Knicks. I think they're too tough for the Knicks physically. Interestingly, because Cleveland's not a physical team, but Cleveland has more talent, certainly top-end talent, than Detroit. And Cleveland has been soft in the playoffs, so I would pick Detroit. But that would be interesting because they do have so much talent, Cleveland, that if Harden and Mitchell can score against that perimeter defense, which they will if they can do it efficiently, and their bigs can kind of play tough, then they can.
And we don't know who's going to be the 3-4 in the East. Right now, Knicks are a half game up on Cleveland, so that could flip to where the Knicks fall to the 4 and the Knicks are the round 2 matchup for Detroit and Cleveland climbs to the 3 and they're the round 2.
If you're the Knicks, you rather Boston in the second round than Detroit?
I'd rather Detroit. I know that Detroit beat up the Knicks this year in the regular season.
They're probably thinking that
if I'm the Knicks, I don't hate the idea of falling to 4 and getting Detroit.
Meanwhile, in Memphis, Joker notches his 34th triple-double of the year. Didn't even play the fourth quarter. Denver wins their 10th game in a row. First time in Joker's career that's happened. Brew, is there any chance Joker can win the MVP on your ballot?
No. And look, I had him atop my ballot for most of the season. And he's had a phenomenal year. And look, he probably is somewhat, not just me, but all the voters, a victim of his own excellence. And he's won 3 already.
Correct.
That's a ton. Has anybody won 3? Well, Moses Malone, 3 with just one title. And so there might be a little fatigue on people's parts because the numbers are sensational. Remember, and leading the league in rebounds and assists, the first player ever, is huge. I also talked about PER, player efficiency rating. He was at one point the only player in history to have a 33 or above, and he kind of fell off a little bit from that. Now he's he's at 32. He's his second best of his career, still the second best all time. But that, like, if he stayed above 33 PR, I might maybe have to consider him stronger. But I got Shea without his second best player for 2/3 of the season, still the number 1 seed. He's averaging 31 on 55, 38, or 39, and 88 splits.
Can Joker pass Wemby?
Yeah, that's the question. I right now I've got Wemby. And the games are won. Like Wemby's played 63, Joker's played 64. Obviously, if Wemby's not eligible, Joker will be 2 for me. But what I will say is this. Right now, I'm looking at Wemby at 2, Joker at 3, Luka at 4. What I will say is this. If they meet in the second round and Jokic outplays Wemby, like he did in that last game this weekend, close, but he's just clearly the better, then I will admit I was premature in saying Wemby was the best player in the world. Probably premature by a couple months, but because next year he definitely should be.
Well, the A-block, you said that the Spurs were on the verge of a dynasty.
Well,
so.
I think everybody agrees with me. If he stays healthy.
I mean, I'm not trying to go back to the first topic. I agree. If we were doing a dynasty draft, that if the Spurs would be a universal top 2 pick.
You don't think they'd be number 1?
I don't. The Thunder have such a head start.
Yeah.
But if the Thunder, let me put it like this. How about this, KW? If both teams, if the Nuggets make the finals this year, then the Spurs would be my number 1 draft pick for dynasty draft. If I know that the Spurs aren't all of a sudden in 2 months going to be 2 championships down, then and I think that's kind of what Brew's alluding to. To answer this question, here is where I think Shea is the MVP as well. I have been adamant all year that I thought, not all year, but the last month and a half that I thought Luka was 2. And this is maybe why we don't necessarily have to have the 65-game rule. I'm going to assume Luka's going to be eligible. Luka has fallen to 4 because he missed the time. Fair. Like, you know what I mean? Like but
he's played as much as Wemby.
Right, but he needed to have played more to overtake him. And now Wemby keeps playing awesome. I know now Wemby's missed time. Right. Joker's playing the best ball of his season, and that game against Wemby mattered a lot to me. The Lakers are going to fall to the 4 seed at least. That to me is had Luka stayed healthy, he was to me the number 2 guy. He gets dinged up, the team falls, and so Joker, I could see Joker finishing second. I could see Joker overtake.
OKC on Friday. I don't know what's going to happen in that game. Lamar's chances at a ring next on FS1 the Fox Sports Channel 06 now.
We gather here tonight to bring women back to their rightful place.
The Testaments, a new Hulu original series from the executive producers of The Handmaid's Tale.
It's easier to accept a story than believe that the people around you are monsters.
The battle isn't over.
There comes a time when you have to take action, when you have to choose your own destiny.
Never quite as it seems.
Watch the new Hulu original series, The Testaments, streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Check out the podcast if you get a chance. It's excellent. Our YouTube channel just keeps growing. Although it seems like we got to get to 1.1.
I mean, that's a lot. It's 100,000. You get a plaque just to get to 100,000. It's hard to gain.
We'll get there.
Someone is sitting there right now and they haven't subscribed. Just come on, please.
We'll get there.
We're begging you. We run 50 promos. Thank you. Ravens practicing. Zay Flowers and Lamar missed the playoffs last year, fired their coach, and now are ready for their Super Bowl window to reopen. Coach Mangini's here. First, here's Zay Flowers.
He ready, man. I feel like we answer that every year, and he always ready. So he even more ready this year. He excited about the coaching staff. He excited about getting to work with Coach Declan. So he ready to go. He want to finish. He want to get a ring. I feel like the whole team know that, and I feel like everybody got a window. Different teams, it don't matter who it is, you're going to have a window to, and you got to just seize your opportunity. And that's our window.
Okay. Brew, I think we'll start with you. It's super macro, zoomed out question. Are you still confident Lamar will win a Super Bowl?
He better. He better. All right.
The Bucks.
Good one, Coach.
He better. Look, because this is the price of greatness, of historic greatness, right? All the other, he's one of 11 guys who won multiple MVPs. All the other 10 won a championship. That's the club you're in now. You don't want to be the only one without a Super Bowl ring. So I'm going to say yes because of the history. He's still playing great. I said it earlier in the week. even last year was a down year. He clearly was off, but he still had a 103 passer rating, still was second in the league in touchdown percentage. So even in a bad year and a clunky year in and out of the lineup, he still put up good numbers. He's still clearly in his prime. He's got a great organization that's always going to put a solid defense with him. He's got good receivers. I don't know that he needs great ones right now. He's got good enough ones, tight ends. And right now, you just got to, even without Derrick Henry, they always have a strong run game. So I believe he will eventually win the championship. And here's the thing. You can't use and same for Josh Allen, but you can't use man, it was Mahomes and Josh Allen were in the way. No, because now Drake May's gotten to a Super Bowl. Sam Darnold, of all people, has won a Super Bowl. So, yeah, he still got, I think, a good amount of time. Look at Elway and others like that. But, yeah, I do feel like he's going to get at least one.
And I've always felt that but Mahomes was there was a way more valid excuse or reason for Josh than Lamar. Because Josh 4 times has been beaten by Patrick in the playoffs. Lamar, they've only played once. Now, Patrick beat him, but it was it's not like again and again and again he's losing to him. And Brew, you talked about 2-time MVPs. It's a very short list of 1-time MVP quarterbacks who have never at least been to a Super Bowl. And he's on that list. The Matt Ryan,
the other ones that haven't been to one?
Josh.
Josh Allen is obviously on it, and I had
Ryan Wentz.
I had this. I don't have it off the top of my head. But it's not a long list. Is the point? Rich Gannon, your favorite MVP, made a Super Bowl, but I am not confident. Do I think he can? Absolutely. Do I think he has to get over his playoff woes to win one? No, I don't. Peyton Manning, in my opinion, never got over his playoff woes. Peyton Manning, when he was certainly the year they won his first Super Bowl, in that playoff run, he had 3 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in the playoffs. Prime Peyton Manning, and they won anyway. If you are constantly in the mix, sometimes things can just break your way, and that's, and your greatness gets you constantly in the mix, and you don't necessarily have to carry your team to it once you get there. And then you're minted forever. Nobody cares that Peyton wasn't great in that playoff run.
Yeah, I don't know why this is the window and last year wasn't the window. I picked him to go to the Super Bowl last year, but what's different this year that suddenly is going to propel them into the Super Bowl? You change the coaching staff. Maybe that's going to have a dramatic impact, but there is a learning curve for a new head coach that they go through, and he had a significant amount of injuries last season, and is this the function of we've seen a lot of good young running quarterbacks, but not a lot of good old ones. Are those body blows starting to add up? What was it last year? 20 less touchdowns, 3 more interceptions. So the numbers were good, but a little bit deceptively good. And you kept waiting for him to take over games or to get out of his slump, and it never happened. Now, could they be in the mix if he plays like Lamar in his MVP seasons? Of course, they're going to be in the mix, but there's new challenges with a changing coaching staff that weren't there last year. Maybe those will be positive, but I just don't see what's so dramatically different that suddenly now this is the window versus all the other years. Those were all windows too.
Well, no, I think those were definitively all windows. And I think the year that still, every time they show like the advanced numbers, the DVOA stuff of like best teams, Seahawks popped up on this a lot, like the best teams of the last 25 years. Yeah. It's a bunch of teams that ended up winning the Super Bowl and the Ravens from 2 years ago. Yeah. The Ravens that lost to the Chiefs in the AFC title game when they were at home. That team, Derrick Henry's first year, they were a dominant team, and that maybe was their best opportunity. But my other kind of question to the group is, Brew has stated it matter-of-factly, are we certain Lamar is still in his prime? And if so, how much longer do we think it is? Like, was last year a blip and now he's going to be right back to it? Or because of styles and what is all of a sudden no catastrophic injuries, but a long list of very different injuries that he is, on the slight downslope? Not meaning he's not still going to be excellent, but that it's just each year he might be a touch worse. And if that's the case, then that does make me nervous. And it also makes me nervous that you had, and I thought they needed to move on from Harbaugh because it felt like Lamar and Harbaugh, that relationship would run its course.
Yeah.
And I really liked the Jesse Minter hire, but it's still a dice roll. It's still, you know what I mean? It's still an unknown and adding an unknown.
And it's a learning curve. There's a learning curve involved.
And so I just think you asked that question on Twitter today.
Yeah, I asked if you had a 5-year window and you had to pick 5 teams, Coach, and it's for your life savings, and you just need the team to one of your 5 teams to win the Super Bowl. That's it. What are your first 5 teams that you pick?
Kansas City would be number 1.
Okay.
Buffalo would be in the mix.
We have those two. I put
Baltimore would be in the mix.
Baltimore would be on your list.
Baltimore
wasn't on my list.
Be on yours.
I was surprised. We got a lot of 49ers, got a lot of Bears, got a decent amount of Patriots. Maybe it's just because I asked my own followers. A lot of Chiefs, a lot of Eagles, just organizational.
A lot of Bills, didn't you?
A lot of Bills, which was mostly Josh Allen. There, 0 Bengals, 0 Bengals, but not as much Ravens as I expected.
Look, the Ravens, and this is what I'm really interested in. I do think, kind of like you feel about the Chiefs, like last year was just a blip. Like it wasn't, they've fallen off. But my main problem, as you guys know, with them has just been mentally in the biggest moments. So I'm hoping Mentor changes that culture and that's no longer an issue. But they've had chances. There's no doubt. That one year you mentioned, that they should have won that year.
2 years ago.
So they've had their chances. I think you can ask similar questions about Josh. I mean, he hasn't been as banged up as Lamar, but his style,
same thing.
It's similar to a Cam Newton, who ran a lot and all of a sudden had a very short
Got
prime.
a new coach, running too much.
And I'm always going to choose the top 5 quarterbacks.
Yes.
Because those always give you the best odds.
Yeah, Coach probably would have had the Bengals on.
Yeah,
on
I probably would have put them just because of Burrow.
So
What?
Because he believes in Burrow so much.
I believe in defense.
I believe in quarterbacks. I think
Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see how that shit goes.
It
took 9 years, 8 years?
No, I'm saying it just I would almost go the other way. Like I'll throw a Texans vote in there. I believe in the Texans defense.
Yeah, they're.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I watched the playoffs last year. That kind of.
But you're just saying
I would just do the opposite.
Great defense.
I would just take great
defenses,
defenses, solid quarterbacks over great quarterbacks. Not sure about the defense.
Yeah,
There are going to be some teams with, as we just saw, with decent or good quarterbacks that win it. There
are, but I think that is.
Those are usually the one-offs.
Yeah, and
I agree with that.
And the argument someone make as well, that's back-to-back Super Bowls, that has been great defense, questionable quarterback, but you don't feel that way.
No,
you think that's a great quarterback.
But certainly their defense was excellent.
Well, yes, the ideal is to have both great quarterback and a great defense.
But what would you rather have to pick one?
I mean, I would rather have Josh and Patrick over any other. Those two guys, to me, I would rather have than any other thing on my football team. I would rather.
I just don't know. They lost 34-30 or whatever.
I understand.
But I would like Tom Brady and then put me on whatever team you want to put.
Yeah, and Peyton was in a similar spot. Like
Brady kind of changed the way we look at it because he was there so much. And then Mahomes, where you felt like we need this great quarterback to win it.
The Patriots consistently had a great defense. Yes, to have a dynasty, you need both. But if we are, like your exercise, I think I said Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, because I trust the organization. I've seen them win Super Bowls with multiple quarterbacks,
you think that
multiple coaches.
Would you keep Jalen there?
I think the Eagles is a very good pick.
Yeah, I think I don't want to say it doesn't matter if Jalen's there or not. My point is they are not dependent on a singular coach or a singular quarterback.
Almost like
it's an organizational.
5 good organizations that you really trust.
And I said the Niners I included as well because I have seen the Niners certainly make one Super Bowl with a quarterback that I don't think was good in Jimmy G and make another Super Bowl with a quarterback that I have my own questions about, but I think he's a good player in Purdy, so I don't think they have to have.
Did you have the Rams in the mix?
Tons of Rams in the responses.
Maybe I said the Rams instead of the Niners. I was debating them and the Bears. The problem for the Rams on your exercise is you said you get 5 years, but the Rams, I feel like if they don't do it next year, they're a wasted pick almost because Stafford's going to.
Do they have one down year and then grab
maybe
a draft that were they looking at?
I was very curious why you put that on Twitter. I liked it, but I was like, is KW like trying to source his podcast?
No, I just thought it was interesting.
I thought it was.
It is a good question.
Introducing Home Care Plus, a new subscription service from Lowe's that helps make life easier by giving members a hand with home maintenance. Let Lowe's tackle the tasks you keep meaning to do, like electric dryer vent cleaning, replacing hard-to-reach light bulbs, and more. Subscribe to Home Care Plus for just $99 a year and consider your to-do list done. Members get more at Lowe's. Available in select zip codes only. Cancel anytime. Non-refundable fee. Product purchase required. Terms and service restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Myles Garrett not at day one of the Browns offseason program. New coach Todd Monken says he wasn't concerned. It is voluntary after all. But this is on the heels of a contract restructuring that didn't really save the Browns any cap space, but did make Myles Garrett's contract easier to move if he was interested in finding a new home.
Or if they were interested in finding him a new home. Yeah.
So is this something or nothing?
I don't think him not being there day one of the offseason program in and of itself is something. But I do think that the combination of the Browns being like, hey, maybe you should be able to trade picks 5 years in the future, and hey, let's adjust Myles Garrett's new deal, and Myles not being there, all of those things have inched us closer to an outcome that I know KW, you have a very, you have a soft spot for players spending their whole career in one place.
Yes.
You get very sad when a guy like Mike Evans leaves.
I just thought he
much
was
less,
one
of the greatest DNs
He
ever.
doesn't like Myles Garrett.
It's a weird spot.
I like Myles Garrett. I would like to see Myles Garrett fulfill his destiny as one of the great defensive players of this generation and win a Super Bowl like everybody else.
Well, J.J. Watt never came close.
Name a few more.
Bruce Smith.
Reggie White.
Bruce Smith.
He went to four Super Bowls.
You said win.
You
said win.
He went to 4 Super Bowls.
Don't yell at me.
Lawrence Taylor won.
I said name one, and I named one. You yelled at me.
If Myles Garrett goes to 4 Super Bowls, I'll be like, hey, right decision. If he's sitting there on 4 wins for another year, we're wasting a guy's prime.
I'm agreeing with you. I think most football fans would like to see him play in big games with real leverage, and I would like to just see what is the upper bound of sacks a player can get if he's on a team, if he has this talent and is on a team that constantly has the lead. And that's when we were talking about how dominant he's been. He's in so many fewer obvious pass rush situations than most guys. And I also think the Browns don't very often make super smart decisions, but they have been stockpiling draft picks, and they could have a historic amount of draft capital if, in addition to having the Jags extra pick and the other things they've done.
And they drafted really well.
Correct. If they were to trade Myles Garrett and get they would get more than 2 first-round picks. I don't know if they'd get 3 firsts, but 2 firsts and something. So I like the idea of it. I think it'd be good for everyone involved.
Look, I think that makes some sense. Trade him. As great as he is, trade him, get those picks. And the way they drafted last year, if you can be solid again in that, then you can really start building. But, Coach, Monken, I'm sure, is like, we want to keep – and I'm not saying this is final. He has the final say. But that defense is good. As a playoff caliber defense. They got run game is pretty good. I think Monken's probably like, if we can just get solid quarterback play, not that that's even true, but he feels like if we can get solid quarterback play, we can be in the mix. They were just in the playoffs a few years ago. So I'm sure Monken isn't like, let's trade our best player and then we try to stockpile draft picks and it's I'm going to be bad for the next 3 years.
Yeah, I don't think this is anything. He never goes to the offseason program, so this isn't any different than any other year. It's not like the other situation we're talking about where someone suddenly shows up. That would actually be stranger if he started showing up, but he's never gone to the offseason program, and I don't think this is to get him in line to trade at all. They have drafted well. So why would you get rid of the guy who just set the single-season sack record? There may be a little bit of sour grapes with getting rid of Jim Schwartz because he was so successful in that defense. And then the other thing about OTAs is it's pretty boring for a defensive lineman. You go and you lift, but like the walkthroughs and things like that, you're just standing there. It's not like you're catching passes or running routes or doing so. And he probably takes a pay cut by being there instead of doing appearances. And in addition, he's always kind of marched to the beat of his own drummer. So this, to me, is an absolute nothing situation.
J.J. Watt caught passes for touchdowns, so maybe he could work on that to expand his game.
Derek Thomas and Julius Peppers?
And I think my list off the top of my head was multiple Defensive Player of the Years and their ultimate success in the playoffs.
So J.J. Watt's the lowest on that
J.J.
list.
Watt has a handful of Super Bowl wins, but playoff wins.
Yeah.
But Mean Joe Green has multiple Super Bowls. Lawrence Taylor has multiple Super Bowls. Reggie White has...
Aaron Donald has a Super Bowl.
Aaron Donald has a Super Bowl. Reggie
that's
White.
totally
fair. The Browns went to, 2 playoffs in the last 5 years?
Yeah, I think his level of success, to be honest, is very comparable to J.J. Watt, and I think people forget... And I'm not even mentioning his brother T.J. Watt, who also has not had... TJ's had no playoff success. J.J. had almost no playoff success. J.J.'s peak is as high as Myles Garrett's peak. He won 3 Defensive Player Years in 4 years. But I agree with you. I don't think it's unprecedented is the point I was trying to make. No. I agree with you, though, that he wanted it, and then he got beat over the head by money and decided, okay, whatever. And then set the sack record.
I feel really he got beat over the head by money. I feel really sorry.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying
they really beat him up with all that money.
Put a public letter out there that said the goal was not to go from
Cleveland
to Canton. I want to win Super Bowl.
You think that letter was sincere?
Well,
I trust?
I want to leave.
I see a center justified letter.
Ton of money.
Can I ask you a question? Let's say you guys are not trading for A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Would you give up
2 first-round picks?
And because your first-round pick's the 31st this year, so 2 first-round picks and a third, 2 1s and a 3 for Myles Garrett.
So the 31 this year, 32 next year, and 3. Yes, I would.
That's what I thought. You're the type of team that I think should consider it.
Operating under Drake's.
I don't think the Browns are looking to trade him.
I mean, they've insisted that they're not.
The contract change was funky, though, Coach. I don't know. We should have called you.
I tend to agree with Coach.
But the contract change made it possible. It was not going to be salary cap tenable, and now it's possible.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Live from New York, it's the show that's excited for Celtics Knicks tonight, but a little bit worried about Jaylen Brown missing yet another game. Excited for Tatum, but a little bit
I'll
worried.
be there.
Are you going to the game?
I think I'm going too, bro.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Me too.
Are you?
I don't know if you guys are going. I guess it was an invite I missed or something. Second hour of First Things First today. What are our expectations for Jayson Tatum in his first game back in Madison Square Garden since tearing his Achilles? Meanwhile, Ruben Bain in Kansas City visiting the Chiefs. Is defense a key to Patrick Mahomes' renaissance? But right now, of course, it's time for the most motivational segment in all of sports, the Bud List. Also time where we read some viewer mail. We get tons of mail from all over the country, all over the world. Yeah, all over the world. We appreciate you sending letters. Dear Wilds, love the show. Are you guys into Artemis and the moon adventure? Ryan and Brian are on their telescope nonstop. Thanks, Dawn and Don. I asked you if you were into the moon, and you said big time, I believe. This is one of the more famous pictures out from astronaut
Jackson Blade.
Reed Wiseman. You never
is
know
that
what
Jackson
you're going to see.
Blade?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Just Jackson just floating out there.
Oh, that's him float. I thought the other guy was Jackson.
No, not the other guy.
Oh, that's
the other
him.
guy's a white astronaut, bro, not a black action hero.
He is a hero.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Jackson Blade in space.
Thanks.
All
Good
right.
job.
He did on the cutting room floor.
Not bad.
Bruto on Pluto. So
He hates Bruto, Coach. Hates.
Coach,
He's jealous. Jealous of Bruto's
Okay, go ahead.
pectorals. All right, at number 3, not an athlete, but Adam Silver. All right, in the NBA. Now look, I gotta say this: the NBA, Adam, I think it's in great shape player-wise. Like a lot of times, as LeBron and Steph and KD and maybe even Harden and Kawhi, like as they age out, no longer the faces of the league and eventually will retire, there are a lot of young stars that are ready to take the mantle. Like faces of the league. Obviously, you got Wemby, but you got Shea playing great. The Celtics are good. You got Luka. You got Cooper Flagg, an American superstar. Anthony Edwards, an American superstar. And we got a draft full of potential American stars. So the player-wise, you're in great shape. The problems have been off the court. Okay, so number 1, you got some things to fix, Adam. Tanking. The tanking is just out of control. And there's been tanking over the years, but this year it has hit rock bottom and you got to fix it. And I think it's simple. It's simple. The lottery is no longer weighted. So whether you finish with the 14th worst record or the first worst record, you got the same amount of chance to win the lottery. Now, some people might say, well, a good team might win the lottery. Back in 1993, the Orlando Magic won the lottery, got Shaq. Went 41-41. The next year, Golden State won the lottery, but they traded the number 1 pick, was traded to Orlando. It was Penny Hardaway.
Orlando won the lottery and
drafted
traded
Webber, Webber traded him to Golden State. So Orlando won it twice in a row.
Back to back. Yep.
Was that so bad? We had Shaq and Penny, and they got to the finals. Had they stayed together, that would have been a great run. So it's not bad. And here's the other thing. Bad teams are bad. I'm convinced. It's bad management. Some of these teams will be in the lottery forever and never get it right. The team that's been in the lottery the most currently, 7 straight years, the Washington Wizards. It's not because they haven't had chances to get better. They can't get it right. They've had bad management. And now they might be decent, but that's not because of the draft. They got Anthony Davis, Trae Young next year. They traded for those guys. So don't worry about all these bad teams won't have a chance. The second thing is the 65-game rule, which we've talked about ad nauseum. I got my notice today. The ballot's coming out next week. Maybe it's too late. I hope not, because I think, Adam, you need to make an executive decision and say the 65-game rule is abolished. Or meet with the Players Association. They'll support you, and you both abolish it together so you have a unified front. But this is bad, and you just don't. It could be some great players left off the All-NBA. And financially, it hurts guys because how much they can earn in future contracts is related to this. So I think you need to get rid of it. You've done some good things with the play-in turn. I like the play-in. Sure. I think it keeps some teams going, strong. And the NBA Cup is becoming a thing.
And this year's All-Star game was good.
All-Star game was good too, yeah. So I believe in you, Adam. Let's go ahead and get it done. All right, at number 2, Jayson Tatum at the game that Nick and I and Wiles maybe will be at. Coach Mike. Let's go. It's going to be fun. But anyway, you got a chance. I know there'll be some trepidation, maybe some triggers and all that, because last time you were in Madison Square Garden, of course, you got hurt. We're having a great game. Although y'all were losing, you had 42 points. But this is a chance for you, and I'm sure you'll be able to get over it mentally, because obviously you've done a lot of that in just coming back this season so early. But you have a chance to exercise those demons before the playoffs, which would be great. So you don't worry about stepping foot into the Garden anymore. Secondly, you can send a message to the Knicks that this is not going to be like last year in the playoffs. We owned you last regular season. We will own you again if we meet you. Because if we beat you without Jaylen Brown, who's not playing tonight, then you have no chance of beating us in the playoffs. Send that message. And thirdly, Coach, when I was a player, and I don't like guys getting hurt. I hated when teammates got hurt. But you know what? If somebody got hurt,
brew time.
I was like, more shots for me. All right, I get a few up. Maybe I'm going to put up some high points this game. You are back to be in the show tonight with Jaylen out. So if you do all of those three things, it'll be a great night for you at the Garden. Put that pass behind you. Jayson Tatum, I believe in you. At number 1, my man Wemby.
Ooh.
Look, I like that you want all these regular season awards, because the fact is everybody wants them. They won't admit it, except maybe Joe Mazzulla. He's a different breed. But superstar players want MVPs and all NBAs, and role players want 6th man of the year, all defense, all that stuff. Everybody wants it, so I got no problem with you saying it. But you can't. I want you to win some awards too, but not at the risk of not being 100% for the playoffs. So you got 2 games left. If you are not right, if you are risking further injury by going out there and playing, and you won't be 100% for the playoffs, I just think you got to sit. I think you have to override your desires to go out there and play and be eligible for awards. It'll hurt, but it'll be the best for you, because if you get to the playoffs, play well, and win a championship, that overrides all of the regular season accolades, right? MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, all of that. If you can win a championship in your 3rd year, and this would truly be historic.
Yes.
Because, this is maybe even more so than the Bill Walton and taking that young Blazers team to the championship 50 years ago. So that would be something. So be smart about it. Make sure your body is right for the playoffs, even if it means missing these last 2 games and not being eligible for the NBA awards. But Wemby, I believe in you.
Wow. Coach, how do you?
It's been a long time, but it's like being rejuvenated, getting this segment back into my system.
Thanks.
So good. So you talked about tanking off the top. So I'll just fast forward to the Jets. They obviously did a lot of that last year in order to get the situation that they're in right now with 2 number 1 draft picks. So they've got 2 number 1 draft picks. They've got 2 number 2 draft picks, and all 4 picks are in the top 50 of the draft. That's not even counting the 3 number 1s they have next year. But they've got 4 picks in the top 50 of the draft, so they've got a real opportunity to infuse a ton of good talent into this team. And when you look at the problems they had last year, it's the first team ever to not have an interception in a season, 17 games, which is pretty amazing. And then you see what New England was able to do after not being very good the year before. They go to the Super Bowl. There's been change in Buffalo with the head coach, change in Miami with the head coach. You've got a real opportunity to infuse talent into this system and to make a run at it. And you talked about going to the promised land with Geno. These picks will help you. And I would seriously consider, if you had an opportunity, to trade out of that 2 spot. Trade back if you can. Try to get more picks. There's a group of guys, there's a bunch of guys that are going to be able to help you. So if you can get some more picks and keep adding to the youth of that roster, I think that would be a really good idea. My first year we had 2 number 1 draft picks. I can't remember who we took, but they're in the Ring of Honor at the stadium if you want to take a look at them.
Look, everybody was excited about the Aaron Glenn hire. It obviously didn't go well last year, but if they can draft well, you're right. Maybe they can turn this thing around.
4 picks in the top 50 is.
I do wonder if this year is a difficult year for them for anybody in the top 5 to trade back. The Raiders could if they wanted to, because people love Mendoza. But it feels like a lot of the draft experts feel like there's the difference between the second player taken and the seventh player taken is more a matter of taste rather than like
Travis Hunter last year.
Right, or Abdul Carter, like those guys were like considered, whether they will be or not, like these true blue chippers, and there was more thirst to trade up for those guys.
And in situations like that, sometimes you have to trade for less value.
Yeah.
So it may not be what the chart says, but to get some sort of value and get more money.
I'm sure Veach would give them 9 and like a 5th rounder to move up to.
Yeah, that'd be
fine.
Well, it's 4:12 almost on a Thursday, which means you're in for a real treat. It's time for the Sports Media Ombudsman.
Indeed it is. A few options this week. I wanted to go inspirational.
Oh,
good.
I like
Because the Masters started today. And it's a tradition unlike any other.
Copyright.
The Masters app. And
An app on the Bud list.
The Masters app, because I don't know, listen, if you haven't downloaded it, this is an unpaid endorsement.
Wow.
Download it.
It really is.
Because pick any golfer at any moment of the tournament, type in their name, and you can see every single shot they took from at every hole in real time. You want to watch on your computer or on your phone your own select group of golfers, pick them, and you will instantly live get every single shot they take. This is a golf club in Georgia that has the greatest sports app in the world.
Good app. And it's free, correct?
It's free. It's unbelievable. To which I say this. To all the other sports leagues that seem to have, I would think, a bigger budget than the Masters. Can we copy this technology or hire that same guy? Can the Kansas City Chiefs have an app where I type in Patrick Mahomes and I see every single throw from the season like we can see every golf shot? Can the New York Knicks copy the app and you type in Jalen Brunson threes and you just see in line every game? The technology clearly exists. It's free. I understand the Masters might have different types of financial obligations. I don't totally get it, but I do know that we have every year, March Madness rolls around. It's like, hey, download the March Madness app. You can watch any game that you want in real time, live. You can quad box it on your phone for free. Then Masters rolls around. It's like, hey, this is great. Meanwhile, if I want to watch the Royals, I need like 4 different apps. I gotta do a bunch of different things. So
But they are televised. The Royals. I'm saying, just start slow. Just be like, maybe just one of those fisheye cams like they have in my son's Little League. You log on.
That's how I'm going to watch a lacrosse game tonight. The fisheye camera.
Always taking shots. I don't know if you should be throwing shots. You know what they're not chanting at Royals games?
What?
Sell the team. That's not happening. You know what the Royals aren't doing? Sitting in last place in all of baseball.
I like that, Nick.
The Masters app, even if you're not a golf fan, it's just such a sick app.
And you can watch First Things First and follow the match.
That's what I was going to say. You're still a fan of linear cable.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was saying that watch us on TV. Good apps.
Coach, you're going to love this one because I consider you a wise guy who has sat in on a lot of interview questions on trying to figure out who you're going to add to your team. So I'm putting interview questions, Brew, on the Bud list. I don't know if you saw Oregon QB coach Koa Kuai describing a pretty simple way that he judges recruits in a delicious way. Take a listen.
Wow.
I ask him a question like this all the time. Hey, do you like chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream? Okay, the minute a kid pauses, I don't really want that kid, right? Because you need to have some type of conviction, right, wrong, or indifferent. Okay, so whether you like chocolate or you like vanilla, I don't really care. But if you sit there and say, coach, I don't know. Is it melted? Is it not? What's the brand? So on and so forth. Like, what is this kid going to do on third down in front of 110,000?
What?
A little bit of a unconventional way to judge your quarterbacks or recruits. Now, I bring a certain level of expertise to this subject after a summer of working at Ben & Jerry's while I was 16. Quick story. Came into the regional New England manager of Ben & Jerry's comes in and says, I've got good news and bad news. So we'll take the good news. He says, the good news is you guys are selling more small ice creams than any Ben & Jerry's in all of New England. So,
wow. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what's the bad news? He said, the bad news is you are selling the least amount of medium ice creams in all of New England. I said, well, what do you want me to do? People come up to the counter, and I say, what do you want? People always just say the flavor.
So they could all play for Oregon.
Well, here's the question. So he said, what am I supposed to do? People just say, I want coffee ice cream. I say, what size? They say small. I said, don't say what size. Say, is a medium okay? And so I said, all right, I'll try it. Next time someone, hey, can I have cookie dough ice cream? Cup or cone? Cup, is medium okay? Yes. Next thing you know, like magic, I start selling tons of medium ice creams. Now, you might say,
it's a bit.
How does that measure into the world of football? The power of suggestion from a quarterback is more important than your silly vanilla or chocolate story. One of the most famous football calls of all time was actually a suggestion from the quarterback. Take a listen.
Mahomes.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, let's do it. And you want a Philly special? It's a crazy play where I catch a touchdown.
Mahomes Wasp.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl, Mahomes said, "Can we run Wasp?" And they ran it to the Tyreek.
So there you go. It's the power of suggestion. A little lesson from Ben and Jerry's. Close on the ice cream, vanilla, and chocolate thing, but I actually think the power of suggestion in a quarterback is more important than just if you prefer chocolate or vanilla.
Yeah, I wish most defenses were either chocolate or vanilla. They aren't. And I kind of want my guy to be able to come up and say, I wonder why that safety's rotating now.
Nope.
And understand the
Snap
situation.
judgments.
Do you follow that logic, Coach?
No.
I didn't like that from that coach at all.
It wasn't great.
I didn't like it at all.
I would like the guy to ask a few questions and be thoughtful about it.
Nope.
Chocolate. I want the right answer, not the quick answer.
Yeah, that was interesting. And that was a great. I have no idea what the ice cream had to do with chocolate. With
Thank you, Brew. That is exactly
Which was the
right.
power of suggestion. It had nothing to do with that video you showed.
He talked about ice cream and decision making.
But
I talk about ice cream and decision making.
You talk about the
then Nick
power
Foles
of
wins the Super Bowl.
He didn't say.
I said it was close. That worked, Josh. Yes or no?
If he had said, hey, do you like, or is chocolate ice cream is better than vanilla, right?
Yeah.
That would have fit.
A leading question.
It worked perfectly.
It did not.
It worked perfectly.
Can I just tell you guys?
That worked perfectly.
It was totally irrelevant.
What are you talking about?
Totally
Coach talking about ice cream. I talk about ice cream. And then Philly
You could have
special.
put a dunk on there. Some player dunking and then got to your point.
That was a perfect story.
That's right.
Perfect
But KW loves reminding America of his humble beginnings working at Ben & Jerry's. We've heard, he doesn't want people to think it was a silver spoon kid, which he wasn't.
What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. You weren't. He's a son of a
from the
carpenter.
hood, yeah.
He pulled himself up. And so once a quarter, he has to tell us about Ben & Jerry's. We all know you worked at Ben & Jerry's, bro.
Well, it's an interesting story. Want to hear a story about why you leave the register open?
We're good.
Save that.
It had nothing to do. I was thinking the same
give away
thing.
You leave the register open.
To get to
When he was like,
Verbally,
when
they
we
smashed the
weren't there,
register.
I thought he was going to be like, people freeze up when they have to order. I thought
No, that's not what it is. It's the power of suggestion.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Fox UFL Friday, two of the league's newcomers, Orlando Storm and Louisville Kings, light up primetime pro football in the spring, ramping up tomorrow, 8 Eastern on Fox. Hear the news? OKC getting a UFL team.
Oh, I heard it now. You just broke it.
That's great.
Celtics in New York, Tatum back at the Garden for the first time since tearing his Achilles. Jaylen Brown out tonight because of Achilles tendonitis. Here's how Tatum has historically fared in the Garden. This includes playoffs 5-1. Well, this is recent history, averaging 31 points. 8 rebounds, 5 assists, shoots over 50%, 42% from three. This is home away from home. What are your expectations tonight for Jayson Tatum?
Before I give my Tatum expectations, I want to give a Knicks crowd expectations. I think he gets cheered at intros.
I think so too.
I would think so.
I think particularly given the fact that they haven't won in 50-plus years, I think Knicks fans are some of the best and smartest fans in the NBA as far as the in-arena crowd. And I think there will be an appreciation for what this moment is, even though these are rivals. And, I don't think it's going to be cheered throughout the game like he used to play for the Knicks. But I think at intros, I think the crowd will give him, something of a hat tip. I'm not saying they have to. It's just my gut tells me that's what's going to happen.
I think they should. I hope they do. I was thinking about this earlier, though. I was like, do you think you could get into his head for the future if you just booed him vociferously? Now, that would look bad.
Yeah.
But would that be within
I don't know. I guess
boo him during the game.
Yeah, they're gonna definitely do that.
But just the initial.
I hope they.
I think there'll be a cheer because it was such a jarring thing that the way it happened. Now, as far as how I expect him to play, I think 30 points is absolutely on the board, particularly because Jaylen Brown's out, and I was probably the most optimistic about his return, and he's exceeded my expectations. The last 5 games, he's 25, 10, and 7 on 48-40 splits, and they've won all of them. Mm-hmm. And it has been stunning to me how quickly he looks most of the way back. I don't think he'll, my son's a huge Celtics fan, and Tatum's his favorite player, and he and I were talking about this morning. Asked me when I think he'll look like vintage Tatum. I don't think that will happen consistently until next season, where it's just night in, night out, he's one of the best players in the league. I think that probably, we're months from that. But he's already at all-star level. And that to me, and so it's maybe unfair, but I almost at this point expect all-star production from Tatum, even though he's 15 games into his right. That's what I mean. Even though he's 15 games into his recovery and less than only 11 months removed or 10 and a half months removed from the injury.
Yeah, look, and you got to credit Joe Mazzulla, and we'll see if he gets Coach of the Year. I think him, Bickerstaff,
no chance.
Mazzulla?
He says he doesn't want it. I don't know how you
think voters going to be insulted?
Well, he said, I don't want it. I'm not going to be insulted.
If I want to vote for him, I'm figuring out, do I want to vote for him or Bickerstaff? Because Bickerstaff in Detroit's been great too. But my point is, their system, I said this before he came back, I thought he would come in and play well because that system is great. It's a great system, and guys, if you have ability, can just fit in and play. Him at, what is he, 70% maybe right now, is better than everybody else on that team except Jaylen Brown. And though Pritchard, with all due respect
Derek
to them.
White's a great player, very
but
good
player. I still think, and he's more of a defensive player. But I'm saying overall player, this Jayson Tatum or Derek White, I think Tatum's better. So I'm not surprised that he's playing well. And I think tonight he's going to have a big game because I think he struggled against them in that series last year until the game he got hurt when he had 42. Before that, he was shooting in the 30% range.
Hubs, just get in my ear. I know we saw that Jaylen is going to be out, but do we have any updates on Derek White's availability? I know he's questionable, but I don't know if he's been ruled one way or the other. Building off of your silver linings point that you made earlier in the show. Is it a silver lining that Jaylen Brown is not playing, so he has to be the guy?
I don't know. I'm going to say no because I think, and I don't know if that's in the Celtics thinking. Maybe, look, let's have Jayson go out there. I could see
Mazzulla doing it.
Yeah. It could be. But my thing is, and they've been great together. And it's been a switch where now Jaylen's been the number one guy. And I would want that as much as possible. Like going into the playoffs, I'd want them to continue to play this way together as much as possible because I don't think this will happen. But theoretically, if Jayson goes out there and drops 47 and now think, I need to be back to the number one, I don't think that would happen. But that could disrupt chemistry, I guess.
Here's why I'm not worried about that. I think if Tatum was at all concerned about his overall actual stature within the team, he would have waited till next year to come back. I think that he opted into coming back at a time so quickly with Jalen playing so well, where he knew, for at least the first month or two, or maybe the entirety of my first season back this season, this guy's, going to be the number one option, and I'm choosing to do that. If he was, I think, self-conscious, or I don't know if that's the right word, but concerned about that, he certainly, nobody would have been like, what's taking him so long, because he didn't have the quickest Achilles rehab ever. And I also think, I think the vast majority of basketball fans, if not universally, and I would guess Tatum also, let me put it like this. I think everybody basically acknowledges Jayson Tatum is a better player than Jaylen Brown. I think the only person that probably in their head disagrees with that is Jaylen Brown, which is totally fine. Like, everybody should feel that way about themselves. And so I think Tatum is self-confident enough to not be concerned about that. The
hierarchy.
Yes.
But how
and the
about
optics
this?
Of it.
How about this? And I don't think they would have won it without him. But is there a part of you, him or what? They look good. They can't. If they win it without me,
I think the flip side is far more likely. Of course, no.
I don't think they would have won it without him. But I'm saying that
and I think
enters your mind.
And I think what more but the flip side of what enters your mind is anybody that questions, my value, or the fact that I didn't win Finals MVP and Jalen did.
Yeah.
Watch them go through a playoff run without me and see. That could have been instead, none of that was there. No. This was a truly, in my humble estimation, a real team-first decision to come back as quickly as he did, knowing he was going. You think
it was team first?
I think that he did it. I don't know that he does it if they're not a piece away from being able to win the title.
I agree.
You know
with
what
that.
I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Struggling,
if they were 35 and that's the wrong
Halliburton
math on
style.
It. Yeah, but not even that bad. But if they had been the 8 seed all year, I don't know that he comes back. But because I think he made the decision, this is a really good team that if I get back to 80% of myself can be a great team. And so I will come in even if my numbers are not going to be what they historically are. What I think everyone is surprised by, maybe Jayson isn't, but what I think everyone is surprised by is how quickly the numbers have gotten back to almost his career averages.
Yeah.
Like that's been stunning.
One wild thing, but it has popped up. Like if there's a cricket in your house, and you don't quite know where it is, but it's somewhere. It's like, it just makes a little noise. Do you see this like Giannis complimenting Joe Mazzulla? Celtics gave the Bucks a call, potential suitors. I don't know what the package is, but did that hit your radar at all?
It hit my radar, but it is, I want to see how these playoffs go, but it is not the move I would be desperate to make if I were Boston. I don't know.
Like you said, you want to see how the playoffs go, but if you're Boston, and again, if you're looking at a potential of Wembanyama in the future, if you're looking at OKC, now again, if they beat OKC in the finals, then you don't worry about it. But if you're looking at the way the teams in the West are kind of stacking up, and maybe even the potential of Giannis going to Houston or something, I might look at that. They have a lot of pieces. Obviously, they have assets and everything.
I think but I guess my the reason I said I wouldn't be rushing to do it is I think the only way they would be able to do it is it would essentially just be Giannis for Jaylen Brown. I don't think.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You know what I mean? I
want to keep the other two, Jalen and Jayson.
Right, and I don't think they can piece it together.
No. Yeah, financially, probably.
Right, and so
I was surprised that it popped up.
And it also,
I would not. Even though Giannis is better than Jalen because of his injury history, I'd be hesitant to do that. Because Giannis has just been hurt so much.
You would drastically be changing your style.
Yes.
It would not be this five out 3-point. You know what I mean?
No.
I don't think the Bucks are going to be able to get certainly a better individual player than Jaylen Brown in any of these trades. But it also, to me, would not that. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't spent a lot of time on the trade machine, the Celtics, Giannis trade. Maybe they could piece it together without touching Brown or Tatum. But also, if I'm the Bucks, trading for Jaylen Brown when you don't own your future draft picks, and he's not an old player, but it's just if you trade Giannis, you are starting over with a guy who was a borderline first-team All-NBA guy who's 30, or is he 30 yet?
But I want
not 30
young,
yet,
I
but
want
is
really
going to be
guy,
30.
Young potential.
Yeah, so I think they're going to win the title. And I think Tatum's going to be the first Tatum and Brown is going to be the first in this group to 2 rings. Like that's to me the cool question about these playoffs. Is Joker going to get a second ring? Is Shea going to get a second ring? Are these guys going to get their second ring? Or, to be fair, is Wemby going to get his first? And really reorient.
Is it going to continue this parity?
Yeah.
One ring for you, one ring for you, one ring for me.
Wow. I like that a lot.
Ruben Bain in Kansas City. That's next.
AI is incredible. It can teach you how to fry an egg and even write a poem, pirate style. Yarr! But it knows nothing about your work. Slackbot is different. It doesn't just know the facts. It knows your schedule. It can turn a brainstorm into a brief. And it doesn't need to be taught. Because Slackbot isn't just another AI. It's AI that knows your work as well as you do. Visit slack.com/meet Slackbot to learn more.
Coming up on Sunday, NASCAR hits the last great Coliseum, where the best of the best look to slow down Tyler Reddick. Michael Jordan's red-hot season. Cup Series hits short track at Bristol Sunday, 3 Eastern. Pre-race coverage starts at 2 right here on FS1. Welcome back to the show. Talking to NFL Draft, the Chiefs are hosting Ruben Bain Jr. For a visit today. Chiefs defense last 4 seasons. I know what you're thinking. Wow, great sack percentage, right? Yeah, usually. But last year down to 6.4.
Last 2 years.
Oh, last 2 years, I'm sorry. I was thinking it was like a basketball season. 22nd in the league. But Bain Jr. was the Defensive Player of the Year in the ACC. Had almost 10 sacks. His pass rusher, Kansas City's #1 need.
It is now that they added Kenneth Walker. Listen, they have not. The last 1,000-yard rusher they had was before Mahomes took over as starter. And they had been able to piece it together, and they had such an explosive passing game, and Kelsey was such a dynamic weapon. And then that slowly somewhat atrophied. And to my eye, teams had such little respect for the Chiefs' ability to break explosive runs. They were always daring them to run. The Chiefs couldn't consistently run, except for on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, where they were better than the tush push. Like they were elite at that Kareem Hunt getting a 1.5-yard play. And so they had to address that, but they addressed it. And when I watched the Chiefs last year, and you guys heard me talking about this after the first game of the season against the Chargers, 3rd and long, get off the field. They couldn't because they could not get a good enough pass rush. Now I understand, Coach, they lost or traded away basically their entire secondary. I have such faith in Spag's ability to coach up secondary players and Veach's ability to draft secondary players. That's where they have gotten good value year after year and gotten great play out of young players. I don't look at that as pressing of a need as somebody other than Chris Jones who can get pressure without Spags having to scheme it up. Somebody who can just win a one-on-one or, God forbid, a double-team matchup. So, yes, I think this is their #1 need by a lot.
Yeah, I looked at those numbers too, but they were 6th in points allowed last year, right? So that's a very impressive number. And with Spags, it's not always about the one-on-one pass rush. More often than not, I'd say the majority of the time, it is some sort of scheme-related defense.
But don't you think that's because they don't have a guy, like it has to be schemed up because they don't have a guy who can win on his own?
Maybe he increases a little bit, but his track record over time has always been being multiple bring a lot of different pressure packages, a lot of guys involved in the pressure packages. So, but when I look at the Chiefs, I also think, how are they affecting people in the passing game? I mean, Travis Kelce was a leading receiver last year. How many? Maybe this is a swan song. I know he signed a 3-year deal, but it's hard to imagine that it's going to be multiple years. Would there be value in getting another tight end that could actually affect the passing game in that intermediate area, give Mahomes an option, give Kelce the chance to teach someone all the things that he could potentially teach someone, or maybe even an outside receiver? So Rashee Rice, what did he play, 7 games last season? He was, I think, second on the team in yards. I know we talk about the receivers, but really, who's their dynamic threat outside? And I'm not usually an advocate of when you've got a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, hey, we got to add all these weapons to it. But they're 6th in points allowed, and they weren't very good offensively. And he's coming off an injury, and their leading receiver is 30 whatever years old and probably in his last year. I like the Kenneth Walker decision a lot. You know, offensive line, those guys are coming back, but they were, 22nd in sacks allowed? So it's not like they, that's a great stat either. So I don't have as much of a conviction as you do that pass rusher is their first priority.
Look, the bottom line from your guys' conversation, and I agree, they got a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they definitely need an edge rusher, no doubt about that. And the receivers, yes, they need weapons. But I'm even, again, defense, looking at the defensive backfield like you brought up. I mean, they lost 3 starters. And so obviously the plan is we're going to, draft some of these cornerbacks and, safety or whatever and coach them up. But that's a huge need. I mean, obviously you lost 3 starters. So now you can say, well, if they get more pressure on the quarterback, it takes less pressure off the backfield. But those 3 areas are all where they need to hit. So if I had a cornerback or something that I loved, I might take him.
Well, almost assuredly, I would be very surprised if they don't have the ability to take the first corner of the draft. I don't think a corner's going to go picks 1 through 8. I would be very surprised. I know a lot of mock drafts disagree with me. Me personally, I would be very surprised if they take a corner at 9, and I would be stunned if they take an offensive lineman at 9. I think that if they do go defensive player that isn't a pass rusher at 9, I think it would be Caleb Downs, the safety, secondary player, but safety. Yeah. And I think wide receiver is possible. I don't think it is. I think that if Carnell Tate were there, I think they would take him. If Carnell Tate isn't there, taking the 2nd receiver off the board with the 9th pick, you see how things fall. But I'm a big believer that the salaries of players don't lie about how the league is valuing guys, and which makes pass rusher and receiver the ability to get a potential star player at one of those spots on a rookie deal so much more valuable than a star tight end or a star safety. Like those guys, the best at those spots now make $40 million a year. The Chiefs hope, and I would believe they're not going to be drafting in the top 10 again anytime soon. This is a very unique opportunity.
So the question, is he an elite?
Well, Coach scared me. I was all in on Reuben Bay, and then Coach was talking Kalijah Cansey. Well, I liked the Brandon Graham comp. I saw Brandon Graham strip Tom Brady win a Super Bowl. I understand. I get it. The T-Rex thing.
And didn't you make fun of
And I'm in a weird spot because I kept calling Will Campbell T-Rex
every week.
And now he's about to be a guard. However,
he's not going to be a guard.
He's going to be a guard.
He's not.
He's going to be a guard. He's going to be a very good guard. It made me nervous. You made me nervous, Coach.
I'm sorry.
Live from New York, First Things First Overtime, starring Danny Parkins in a new jacket, looking great. Lakers-Warriors tonight. We're looking forward to it. Problem is, Steph's not playing. But is there a chance LeBron and Steph team up next year? We discuss. Meanwhile, do the Rams have the blueprint for a successful draft after winning a Super Bowl and making it to Parkins' Super Bowl last year, which is kind of still upset about that, but you're proven right. And finally, how much pressure is on the Chiefs to rebuild their roster? I'm a little bit nervous as a Kansas City Chiefs fan.
Was the general public when you put out that little poll today? What was the
No, Chiefs are still getting a lot of love from.
How does Vegas feel?
5 years, yeah. You got to believe Mahomes going to get it.
No, KW thinks they're done.
No, I don't think they're done, but there's just like name their needs, and then we just keep talking.
Well, I mean,
so
but
it's
I-
a long list of
I'm
like,
needs.
man, is this a podcast?
Yeah.
Or a segment?
But I think that's
not
a little
coaching
quarterback. But
It was.
I understand that's how we discuss it. I think it's a little overblown.
I hope so because I'm a Chiefs guy. I am.
You're not. And
I am.
You're not welcome in this whole state of Missouri or
not-
Kansas, where this
Yeah, they're
state is
moving.
moving.
I definitely am welcome in Kansas. I'm a huge Jayhawks. No, you're not. Danny Parkins, Nick Wright, Kevin Wildsey loves Kansas City, and Chris Broussard. SGA and the Thunder won again. SGA scored 20 again. They clinched the number 1 seed.
No free throws made
again.
for the first time in forever.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
They're going for a championship again. Here's SGA postgame.
It feels better for sure. Not only because we've had to weather a little bit more, but just like repeating something and doing it again is always a little bit harder. It's a little more challenging. The league gets better, players get better, and for us to still have the best overall record through that and ups and downs speaks volumes to the teams, speaks volumes to the guys in the summertime getting better individually, coaching staff getting better individually, and we always say at the beginning of the season, like no matter what happened, we have to earn what we get in making the playoffs in our seeding, and we earned first overall seed.
Parkins, you unleashed a OKC Thunder opus yesterday during the A block of the program.
I cannot wait for Danny's answer to this because I just can't wait. Because I almost want a split screen of Danny's statements and Brew's reactions to this.
I can't wait for
I just can't wait.
now you got to
I haven't
You
even
don't know what I'm
heard-
going to say?
No, but I have an idea of what you're going to say and how you're going to defend it, and I think Brew is going to be apoplectic.
Do we wanna
I
do-
can't wait.
Okay. If we want to do a split screen, I want to give us a second.
No, that's-
Here we go.
All right.
What's another MVP and title mean for SGA?
Brew, follow me down this track.
Yes.
If you bring up the name Michael Jordan.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
I knew it.
If we all agree, and I've been watching Brew's ballot, he seems to be a heavy favorite for MVP. So that would be multiple career MVPs and back-to-back. They are the favorite to win the title, and I assume we all believe that if they win the title, he is the heavy favorite for Finals MVP.
Yes.
So if that happens, we will have to confront some very uncomfortable realities.
Here it is.
Because SGA will enter a list of the most exclusive club that exists in the NBA. There are 6 guys, and it's arguably the 6 best players in the history of the sport because Finals MVP wasn't a thing for Bill Russell, so much so that they named the award
Certainly
after it.
arguably 6th best modern era.
Correct. That is arguably the top 6, depending on what you do with Bird and Duncan.
Right.
Those are the only guys with multiple regular season MVPs and finals MVPs. And if I parse for doing it back to back, it's Jordan, LeBron, and Shea. So he'd be one of 7 and one of 3. And he would deserve it.
Okay.
I mean,
what does that mean?
Well, you tell me.
He's saying he's one of the top.
I'm saying he would objectively be in this grouping of players that Kobe Bryant and Shaq and all of these other, Hakeem, all these other all-timers are not in, and it would make us confront some maybe uncomfortable conversations.
What are those?
Right.
Top 10 player
Can he
of
be
all
a top
time?
10 player of all time?
Right now?
With what
Like
he has
all of a
accomplished
sudden,
at 27 years old.
if they do that, we're all of a sudden next season talking about him as a top 10 player of all time.
We have to, based on accomplishments, why would we not?
Because he's not.
Okay. I get it. Okay.
I was going to go similar, somewhat similar in that if we call him a point guard, there have only been, let me put it this way. The 2 small point guards who have led teams to multiple championships, Steph and Isaiah Thomas. That's it.
Yeah.
When you say just guards, because for the bulk of the history of the game, it's been big men are the ones that lead
and
to
then
championships and dynasties and stuff. Guards, in addition to Steph and Isaiah, multiple titles. Magic, Michael, and Kobe. And then it would be Shea. But if you say multiple MVPs and multiple championships for a team led by a guard, it'd be Steph, Magic, and Michael. And then Shea.
And Shea.
So he is but I don't think it's just, so basically I think what you're trying to say, will we say he's better than Kobe? Is that what, because he will have more MVPs than Kobe.
And he is 27 years old on a young team that would be back-to-back and set up to win for the next 5 years.
So is the question, could he be one day in the top 10? There's no way I will be saying beginning of next season, in July or whatever, whenever if they win the championship MVP, that he's all of a sudden the top 10 player. I will open up the possibility of perhaps if he keeps accomplishing type stuff like this. But right now,
I don't think he's, to be clear, I don't think he's saying that he would be building the resume of a top 10 player.
He's on top 10 trajectory?
That he's on the trajectory.
But my point is that is objectively true. And nobody talks about him like that.
Yeah, because, here's why I think that is. Let's say he does all that.
Yeah.
If we just talk about where he is right now, if you froze history, and he had all these accomplishments, in historical rankings amongst his contemporaries, I would not, if he pulls this off, which I feel like he's already pulled off the MVP, so we're talking about them winning the title, and I still would not have him ahead of Nikola Jokic historically, Kevin Durant historically, Giannis historically. Much less, obviously not Steph or LeBron, who are, like, to me, the Jokic will have more, still have more MVPs. Giannis will have the same, plus a Defensive Player of the Year. He will have one more title than either of those guys. For Durant, he would have same titles, fewer finals appearances, one more MVP. I just don't, he's he's
8 years younger than KD, 4 years younger than Giannis.
But I think we have to be careful with the assumption of guys, because they're this age and they accomplish that. Giannis,
but he will have more championships.
Yeah, but Giannis, when Giannis won his title and was a two-time MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, he was younger than Shea is right now, and Giannis has really not moved a step further along in the all-time legacy. In the 5 years since then.
I maybe would put him ahead of Durant.
Wow.
He's leading the team to championship. I mean, and he's as good of a scorer as Durant. He's a better defender than Durant. And he's shown he can lead a team, which Durant, to me,
would
has
you have
not
him
shown.
ahead of Isaiah, Brew?
No.
No. I do think, like, here's what I'm comfortable saying, because where I think I think this era is showing this to us. I think we can get ourselves in a bit of trouble when we're like, well, he did this by this age, so what's he going to do by that age?
I agree
because
with that.
all these guys they've done it, and then they've gone on something of a drought. I know you are of the belief that this Thunder team is inevitable for the rest of the decade. I am not quite as...
I think they are a inevitable contender for the rest of the decade, and that is just based on
I think everybody would agree with that.
The age of their core and the... If you don't think Sam Presti's the best executive in the sport, he's the second best, right? I mean, they have the most draft capital. They've got the best executive.
I think
they've got
that's
the youngest
obvious
core.
that they'll be a contender.
I think they'll continue
decade.
to be in the mix.
Yeah.
I don't...
So that means he will play 150, 200 plus playoff games. Like he's going to keep being there. He's going to continue to score 20 points, 30 points a game for years and years and years. He's 27 years old.
Can I ask you?
No, he's phenomenal, but there's no way I'd put him in the top.
About the Isaiah stuff got my antennas up. I don't know what Isaiah has over, and again, this is just a pop quiz, Isaiah has over SGA resume-wise.
I say he has a winning playoff record against Magic, Bird, and Michael Jordan.
And I think...
a little bit.
And he won...
A little bit of a boutique stat, but sure.
Well, he's clearly a better passer. I think
he's got two. I'm saying Shea's going to have two MVPs.
No, listen,
he let it in that era. They really weren't giving guards MVPs.
All right, but
other than like the small players.
But my question is this:
Oscar
do you
Robertson
feel like we're suffering almost from a reverse recency bias?
So Isaiah is, I think, a tough one to ask because you happen to do the show of everyone in the media. I think Brew and I have Isaiah higher than literally everyone else. So, like, we're a weird audience for that because I'm of the belief that, and I think Isaiah has proof of this, that he could have scored way more than he did, absolutely. And he understood what, as a true point guard, the way to get his team to play the best defense was to get guys shots and things like that.
Makes sense.
So I think his stats and his advanced numbers are not good. Right. His MVP finish, I just think he was a defining, and not just he won, he was the reason, in my opinion.
He was the reason. Look at the talent. He obviously had talent around him, but look at what Bird had with him. Yeah. Look at what Magic had with him. No doubt. He was able to beat them.
And so,
as a 6'1".
Let me use maybe a guy that I do. Let me say this. I do think he will unquestionably, and I think some people will blanch at some of these names, have moved ahead of a lot of the greatest guards ever. Like if we did a list of guards who are definitively better than Shea if he pulls this off, to me, it would be Michael, Steph, Kobe. I would still have Magic, obviously. I wouldn't think about Magic. And then you can start having arguments. Like that's
the first thing I wrote down was Shea is going to make people confront some very interesting realities.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a finished product. I'm not saying I'm not even here saying he is a top 10 player of all time. That would be ridiculous. But what he has accomplished at 27 at his position with how he is set up to age well with a team around him to do a heck of a lot of winning and scoring, he's building a case.
My question for you is, because I don't think right now, it's way too early to think about Michael or Magic.
Of course.
But what about Kobe? In your mind, I'm not thinking about Kobe with him, but what about you? Because it sounds like
I loved Kobe. I have some childhood nostalgia for the guy who kind of emulated everything after Michael Jordan, my favorite athlete of all time. So at first blush, like it's a ridiculous notion, but it's possible. I absolutely think it's possible.
But not right now.
But not right now.
Okay.
But not right now.
So one more minute here, if we could, Christina. I'm interested in where you guys are on this. Less of the only projection I want on this is they win the title. He's Finals MVP. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's two regular season MVPs, two titles, two finals.
Smash cut. You make a new list of the greatest players ever. Is he ahead of Dwayne Wade?
Yes.
I think you'd.
Okay, so he's definitively then ahead of John Stockton and James Harden and Allen Iverson, and he's definitively ahead of all those guys. So it really is. He is fighting and clawing for fifth best guard ever with Isaiah Thomas. That's what we're saying. If they pull this off, that's what we're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't even think that's much of an argument.
Oh, and you don't even think
you got him ahead
for most people. Just two MVPs. I don't know.
I mean, he's obviously ahead of Nash. I'm going to be mortified if there's someone I forget. Oscar and Jerry West. But if we just want to do the last 50 years, if we did like Kareem to now, it would be Michael, Kobe. Michael, Magic, Kobe, Steph, SGA. Those are the five.
Or Isaiah.
But those are the six greatest guards of this half century.
You have to put him if he pulls this off.
That
now,
is
here's the thing.
Remarkable.
Yes.
And here's what's interesting.
That's remarkable.
But I tend to agree with that. But a year ago, we thought Celtics going to win it.
Yes.
2 years ago, we thought at this exact time, Denver's going to win it. If they don't win it, then it's all of that is just gone.
That's
and
fine.
He's a two-time. He's obviously going to be. He's an all-time great player.
If they don't win it, is he ahead of Dwayne Wade? As a two-time MVP, Wade has 0 MVPs. Wade has 3 championship, 5 finals appearances, 1 finals MVP.
I would say
I wouldn't have him ahead of him yet.
He'd be en route because Wade's career was obviously shortened.
Yep, I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, but I would not be ready to
I think you need multiple titles for a guy at 27 to leapfrog all-time guys whose careers are finished and they're already in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. That was a good conversation, Danny. Good job.
Thanks.
That was excellent.
I appreciate
you cooked
that.
on that one. That was great.
I knew it was going to be good.
I
was
like,
excited. I kind of bird dogged Danny's graphic. I saw a lot of pictures of Michael Jordan.
Nick made me think he was going to put him ahead of Jordan.
No,
He's put Michael Jordan.
I was hoping.
Uncomfortable conversation.
Lakers at Warriors. We thought it would be another classic chapter of Steph versus LeBron, but the problem is Steph is out. So the question is, are we going to see these two team up next year? Not necessarily, don't give me the possibility of it. Tell me if you want to see it, Danny.
So I think you guys won't like my answer as much to this one.
Wow.
No, not really. But I'm still holding out hope that Giannis plays his whole career wearing one jersey.
Oh.
Like, LeBron, Cleveland to Miami to Cleveland to LA. I don't need to see LeBron in a fourth jersey.
But at this point, does it matter?
Stay with the Lakers? Or he doesn't want
Cleveland.
But
Cleveland.
He's bounced around so much, though. That's part of his legacy. I don't think it matters. 4 or 5, right?
Go back to Cleveland. If you don't,
your buddy James Harden might have ruined that.
I mean, depends on what LeBron's willing to play for his last year.
No, I'm saying I think Harden makes the fit,
style
the style. It's so weird. Like, I just think if you have Donovan Mitchell and James Harden on your team, he finds. Sorry to interrupt.
No, LeBron can do anything. He's the Swiss Army.
Well, he has shown that he could if he wanted.
But if I'm LeBron, right? But I would rather have. If I'm going to take a third role, I'd rather be Luka as the guy doing all the dribbling than James Harden.
Yeah.
To me, if he's going to have this Swiss Army knife role, do it in LA.
I agree with that.
So that the Cleveland thing is less attractive once they got Harden to me.
I think Mobley and Jared Allen in the defense to make up for what LeBron doesn't want to do necessarily on that end of the floor makes that more interesting. LeBron and Steph, they're great friends. He's friends with Draymond. It would be an interesting basketball visual. They won a gold medal together. Like, I get it's cooler than Jordan ending with the Wizards. Like, it would be something for him in that category. But I don't like the different teams all the time thing. I don't.
I just think that ship has sailed.
I know it has.
Also, to be fair, he's been on the Lakers. He got there in 19. So he's not bouncing around, right? He went 7 years with the Cavs, 4 with the Heat, 4 with the Cavs, and now 8 with the Lakers.
What I'm saying is for the
longest streak,
it's the longest consecutive.
I'm just saying for the all-time guys, for his company, Jordan 2 jerseys, Duncan 1 jersey, Kobe 1 jersey,
How many Shaq
Bird 1 jersey.
Shaq bounced around.
Shaq, okay, but it was cheapened at the end.
Yeah, because Shaq was a shell of himself at the end. Like, listen, I do want to see him in a New Jersey. The Warriors
Ideally,
would be my third pick.
He
wants to see him in the Knicks so he can dap him up.
I do want him to go to the Knicks are my first draft pick. The Nuggets are my second. The Warriors are my third. I think if the Cavs did something with Harden, it becomes more interesting to me. And maybe after a playoff disappointment with Harden, they'll want to get out of that business as well. But I think LeBron tonight. I'm less optimistic now that Steph is out tonight. But when I thought Steph was playing, I thought LeBron was going to have 30-point triple-double, a 40-point, maybe the final 40-point game of his career, like that. He can still ramp it up, particularly against, if it's not a great opponent and he is trying to put on a show. And so I still think he can we saw in the last game he played, he had 30 points, 15 assists. So I only want to take on that tertiary role if it's for a great player at the peak of his powers. And I don't look at, as good as Donovan is and as good as Harden was at one point of his career, that doesn't feel the same as stepping back for Luka or stepping back for Joker in Denver. With the Warriors, at least, I think he would handle the ball. He could
be in Draymond's offensive role, but obviously a better shooter.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, that would be interesting. Draymond would help defensively. I don't know where Draymond would go offensively.
Yeah.
Because he's not a shooter.
The bench.
I'd rather, if I'm Golden State, my dream would be to get Giannis first. But, look, I would like, if they can't get Giannis, I'd love to see LeBron there. It'd just be a fun story. They wouldn't. Now, they would be pretty good. If Butler's healthy, obviously, can LeBron and Steph stay healthy for the bulk of next season, too? But if those two are healthy plus Butler, they'd be pretty good. They wouldn't be able to win the West, but they would be a pretty good and interesting
And that's the thing.
And it'd be a great story.
I think with the Knicks, they can win the East.
That's the question. Are we doing cool story, fun basketball experiment, or trying to win a title?
That's what I think LeBron is trying to figure out.
Because, like, I don't know, it just feels weird. I can't see him.
I think he wants to
going out
stay in
Denver.
LA.
I don't know why. I can't imagine him in Denver.
I did not think Denver was a possibility. But then McMenamin and Bontemps wrote that article. They listed 6 teams. One of them was Denver. They reminded me LeBron's dear friend Josh Kroenke owns the team. Jared Dudley is, one of the coaches. I also was reminded of, now again, I think this had to do more with Maverick and that potential league he was doing of LeBron and Maverick and Joker's agent hanging out on that boat. Like there was just enough there where I was like, And the fact that the Nuggets could, because they're probably losing Peyton Watson because they paid Christian Brown instead of Watson, they have the sign and trade ability where LeBron wouldn't have to play for the minimum. All those things made me say, Even though I thought it was clearly going to be back home to Cleveland, 1 year with the Knicks, or team up with Steph. This seemed to be a new.
I think if you were in any creative field, let's call basketball a creative field, I think there's some enjoyment in playing with the best. If you were in a band.
That's why I wanted to work with you, buddy.
Wow. But I think it'd be like, you know what? Like when Durant played for the Warriors, a lot of his early quotes were like, this is really fun. I'm having really fun playing basketball. I don't necessarily think it's title. Certainly it's not financial number one.
No.
I think fun is higher on his list, and I don't think he's having the winning is fun. But I think from that quote we played in the Mavs game,
They had
I don't
him on
think
the shelf.
playing with Luka is fun. And playing with Joker would be a blast. His name's Joker. That's it for me. Signing off. First thing goes.
Wow, way to end it.
Happy Frenemies Thursday. Myself and Nick Wright hanging out. Let's go to your hometown in Kansas City. Chiefs hosting edge rusher Ruben Bain out of Miami on a top 30 visit. I think at one point you said this was an ideal outcome.
Yeah, but then Mancini worried me about his short arms, called him Kalijah Kancey, and I freaked out.
Oh, that's not good. T-Rex is a pass rusher. You don't want that. It's a unique draft where you got Patrick Mahomes and a top 10 pick and 2 first-round picks. Wanted to throw this at you, too. The core is old. Like the guys that you would most know and care about. Yes, Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, 2 of the highest paid guys and excellent offensive linemen, not on the list. But it's a unique time for Brett Veach that he hopes to never have another top 10 pick in Mahomes' prime. Given the reality of the core of that roster, a top 10 pick, how key do you look at? We're like 2 weeks away from the draft.
Well, listen,
do they have to nail it?
Yes, of course. I mean, it's like the draft after they traded Tyreek. They have to nail it. I don't agree with you the core is old.
You don't?
No, I mean, the players you put on there's 2 core pieces plus Travis, and this is a bonus year for me from Travis. Drew Tranquil and Kyra Katanga's never played a game for the Chiefs. Those are just the 30 and over guys. Listen,
yeah, but who get
their
paid a
best
lot
offensive player and their best defensive player are old. And Travis obviously is the oldest skill position guy in the league, but I thought he was going to be retired. So you said Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith. We'll see if the wide receivers can play up to what I thought they could for each of them after their rookie seasons. But Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy are not old. Kenneth Walker is not old. The only old defensive player they have of note is Chris Jones. Now it's unproven, but I don't look at them as like this aging roster. I look at them as a roster with a lot to prove.
Do you look at them as a good roster?
So yeah, Patrick Mahomes on the roster.
No, we are in agreement on that. We are in complete agreement on that. But we saw it with Aaron Rodgers. I think we've seen it some with Mahomes. Like, if you have the best quarterback in the world, it's a great deodorant for a lot of problems on your team.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers. So I reject the comparison. Aaron Rodgers in his career was a good enough deodorant to make one Super Bowl, and Patrick is the most talented quarterback in the history of the league.
Agreed.
He is not, though. He is not the only reason they've been to 5 of 7 Super Bowls, or 5 of 8 at this point. So the entirety of their offensive line is young. They have a second-year left tackle, a third-year left guard, Creed, who is entering his fifth year.
Creed and Trey were in the 2021 draft.
Yes.
The year after they got blitzed.
And that's right. And so they're both entering their 6th year. They just and the receivers are young. But what is true is this. Karlaftis is young. He has, last year was a down year for him. Last year was not a good year for Rashee Rice, on or off the field, obviously. Xavier Worthy, season seemed to end in week 1. There's a lot of question marks in that regard, and they made the tough decisions of trading away one of their best young players in Trent McDuffie, letting another one of their better young players in Jalen Watson walk. So they need Noel Williams to step up. They need to hit on the draft. But I don't look at this Chiefs team as a team that has just holes all over the place. I look at that they desperately need an impact pass rusher. I think they would they either need to acquire a wide receiver or have Rashee get back on track, the track he was after his rookie year when he was outstanding, or Xavier Worthy, the track he was on after the second half of his rookie year when he was really coming on. Both of those would be great. And they need to do what they've done 3 times since Spags has been there, remake the secondary as a whole. I think the people that are talking about offensive line are out of their mind.
That'd be weird.
And they have we will see who their starting right tackle is, but they know who 4 of their 5 offensive line stars are. That's not the need for them. But yeah, this, I believe, will be the only top 10 pick Brett Veach can ever make with Patrick Mahomes on the roster. And you have another first rounder, and you have an early second rounder. Like, you need 3 impact guys in those top 40 picks.
And, I was just looking back at the history. He obviously has hits, and he's a very sharp general manager, and they've done an amazing job with, signing their guys, and I think they've sold high on, Jerry Sneed. That trade was great. But that 2021 draft, after they lost the Super Bowl to Tampa, it's you got 2 all-world talent offensive linemen. Great draft. There's a lot of drafts where there's not a ton of hits here, and Sneed and McDuffie.
The draft after the Tyreek trade was one of the best drafts any team's had this decade. And that wasn't the 2021 draft. That was the McDuffie, Karlaftis, Jalen Watson. But the draft after that they went from a draft where every single player they drafted was a hit and got a second contract in this league to a draft where basically every single player was a miss. And so you need to, draft's hard, but they have to nail this one.
It feels to me like they also owe it to Mahomes to use the 9th pick on an offensive player. You're amazing. The stats and the offensive production have dipped a little bit. We're not going to ever be in this position again.
So by that, you mean a wide receiver?
Yeah, a weapon.
You wouldn't want them to draft the tight end out of Oregon at 9, I don't think.
Probably not unless you really believe. And I don't think Jeremiah Love will be there, obviously, and they don't either because they did the Kenneth Walker thing.
Yeah, listen, if Carnell Tate were there at 9, they'll take him. I don't think Carnell Tate might not be there at 3. I think there's a chance the Jets take him at 2. And I would be shocked if Carnell Tate is there at 9. After that, I think what the team needs more than anything is a pass rusher. And I think that's why I've kind of circled Reuben Bain. Obviously, if for some reason one of the guys who is, considered, if there's a different blue chip pass rusher that falls, great. That's where I'm focused. It seems like a lot of the mock drafts out there are focused on offensive linemen. I am here to tell you I would be gobsmacked if the Chiefs select an offensive lineman at the 9th pick after taking a left tackle with the first-round pick last year.
All right, let's talk Lamar in Baltimore here real quick. Zay Flowers basically said Lamar wants to win a Super Bowl, and he wants to get a ring, and this is our window. We don't need to play it for you. That's what he said. So the question here, Nick, is not everyone can win one.
Yeah.
Every era, there's a great quarterback who doesn't. What do you think never winning a Super Bowl would mean for Lamar?
I think he becomes the NFL's Barkley, right? The greatest player ever without the greatest quarterback ever without a ring. Right now, do you have off the top of your head who you think that is? Like some would say Jim Kelly because he went to 4.
Marino.
So obviously, I'm an idiot. Obviously, Marino was the one.
I mean, I wrote down Marino and Barkley as guys.
Yeah.
So we're
I
like
think I think some people would still say they think Marino's better than him, but he becomes the modern era Marino. I was thinking post Marino, the best quarterback ever, and because after, it's the thing is this: there's not a lot of quarterbacks with multiple, but there's a bunch of quarterbacks with the one, and because of that, there's not a lot of legendary quarterbacks of our lifetime. Part of becoming a legendary quarterback.
Like Breeze got the one.
Yes, Breeze got the one. And Rodgers, obviously, who is a true legend, has one. Favre has one. Now, listen, that is, I guess I'm assuming when I say that, Josh does get one. Because I think Josh is, even though he doesn't have the MVP, is a better player than Lamar. If they both finished without one, that would be weird. But some of these guys are going to finish without one. Like, I think Burrow is a big dog to win one, and I think Lamar is a slight dog to win one.
Right. I think Josh is a heavy favorite to get one, and Ravens fans don't like it when I say this. If you had to just bet on the guy who's going to, of those three, of the contemporary, of Josh, Lamar, and Burrow, who is going to, rank their 30s, because Lamar's 29 right now, would you go Josh, Burrow, Lamar, or Josh, Lamar, Burrow? Because I think I would have Lamar third.
As far as individual player,
there's
a chance I would rank Burrow first. Because I think that there is whatever concern we have about how Lamar is going to age, that concern definitively exists for Josh as well. Burrow's had more injuries, but he also seems like a guy who is so unreliant on his athleticism that I think he could maybe have the longest career of all of them. But either way, I think I would rank Lamar third, which is your point.
Which is exactly my point. And so I'd put him as a dog to win a Super Bowl, even though the organization is great, the division is winnable, but someone has to be, and he's obviously better, someone had to be Phillip Rivers in that era.
Yeah, that'll be Justin Herbert, so don't worry about that. Same franchise.
I walked right into that one.
You don't have to worry about who's going to be Phillip Rivers. We know who's going to be Phillip Rivers. But yes, and
a tactical error.
And this is the issue of some folks think Herbert's an all-time great talent. He's in the AFC. Some folks think Trevor is underrated. He's in the AFC. Drake May is, objectively coming off an unbelievable second season. Patrick is, I think the death of the Chiefs has been called prematurely, and that's just to get to a Super Bowl.
Correct. Then you got to lose to Caleb.
Sure. I mean, Caleb at some point, I believe, will get one. It is just a tough spot, and I think Lamar is a favorite not to win.
Good edition of Frenemies, except for that Justin Herbert landmine I stepped on.
Sit right on it.
Yeah. We are 14 days away from the 2026 NFL Draft, and we want to bring you inside the OT War Room, where every day we're talking the biggest storylines ahead of the draft, and it is just 3 guys who share 4 Super Bowl rings between us. I'm going to beat that joke into the ground. And today, it's going to be a little different. This is more of a thought exercise, okay? You see I like to imagine in these war rooms, Coach, pots of coffee, we're probably not wearing suits and ties, and someone's just like, hey, I got a crazy idea. So I got a little bit of a crazy idea here. You see the Rams, they've got the 13th pick in the draft. Well, that's an unconventional place for them because historically, they don't really make picks. Since 2017, Les Snead, Sean McVay, They have made the fewest first-round. Think about it, one first-round pick since 2017, and it was Jared Verse, and obviously he's been great. But in that period of time, they have the fifth most wins, the fifth best win percentage in the NFL, obviously with deep playoff runs and a Super Bowl in that time period too. So I guess the question, the big picture thought that makes me think about, one first-round pick, fifth most wins. Do we overvalue first-round picks?
I don't necessarily think that's the case. And look, this formula's worked for the Rams, but when you look at what the Rams have done when they've actually drafted players, they've been one of the most successful teams with McVay in terms of the players that they do draft. And I'd be interested to see if they had kept those picks and gotten the young talent and infused the team with guys that have much greater value from a salary cap standpoint than going to get high-priced free agents or trading for guys, established guys like that, where they would have been. They've done a great job when they stay in picks. So it's hard to say that's a great formula for people to follow.
Yeah, it's tough. I think the first round is where the NFL sells hope at luxury prices, right? Like we tend to get these guys in the first round, and we talk about them as such certainty, and we talk about draft projection, we talk about their dreams, and there's so much hope that goes into it. And my mindset is, the sixth pick isn't the same as the 27th pick, right? Like the drafting a quarterback at that high round is not the same thing as drafting a running back. It's all positional. So I think sometimes we fall in love with the notion and the dream, but we don't realize that it comes with a lot of weight.
And listen, I get it. The hit rate is tough. There's a lot of luck involved. There's a lot of situational stuff. And the value also is you get the player and you get the cost certainty, right? So you get a young player on a cheap contract where you can overachieve. But I do think the Rams are maybe presenting a blueprint for teams to look at and say, you know what? We have our quarterback. We're ready to win. We can be a little bit more aggressive for a sure thing. And we got younger general managers now that are a little bit more analytically driven. There's like a baseball culture that's come in, a little bit of a Moneyball culture. I do think, like a little prediction, I do think we are going to see more teams start to follow this model because you now know, like, that F them picks thing. Like he said, F them picks, and he won. And it's a fascinating, it's bold, right? And you don't like it, Coach. Well, I know, but it sticks with people.
And I think this has changed, too. When the new CBA came into play and first-round picks, there was a salary cap for draft picks. Mm-hmm. Those draft picks actually became more valuable because they cost you less. And even though they're at luxury prices, they're nowhere near the luxury prices they used to be prior to the old CBA.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember. It's funny you said that because I remember when Jake Long got drafted, right? And remember when the money he got coming out of Michigan? Like people, like crazy. I played. So Marvell Smith was my left tackle at the Steelers. I remember Marvell being visually upset because he's like, this kid never played a down. Man, he already got the bag, and I've been to Pro Bowls and won a Super Bowl, and I don't even have that type of contract.
And that's why I think Danny's philosophy would have made more sense in the old CBA than with the new CBA.
Okay, so that's let's look at some of the actual the data here. Let's look at who the Rams, what they have done. Okay, Jared Goff, Brandon Cooks, they win a Super Bowl with Jalen Ramsey. Right. And obviously with Matt Stafford, he gets the MVP and he has the deep run last year. And then they do it again with Trent McDuffie. They traded out of the first round entirely in two of the drafts. But you look at those names, all of them worked. Right? Like, now we'll see on McDuffie, right? Like
but he's a bona fide stud. His resume speaks for himself.
He's awesome. So I guess let me throw a team at you, just hypothetically. The Buffalo Bills. We know they're good. We know they're going to be good every year. Last year was like a weird dysfunctional year and they won 12 games and then they ended up firing their coach. Like, so their floor seems to be double-digit wins. Can we show what Brandon Beane has done in the draft since picking Josh Allen? Ed Oliver's a very nice player, but it's not a lot of production because you are
not with the Rams.
You also took an organization that's been very unsuccessful with the draft. You went to the other extreme.
I did, but I'm saying, if you're Buffalo and you have the 26th pick in the draft, it's hard to hit with the 26th pick in the draft. So why not take a shot and say, you know what? I'm going to go get Dexter Lawrence. I'm gonna go get a proven player during Josh Allen's prime and copy Les Snead a little bit and try to do it that way.
The flip side of that is the Baltimore Ravens, who have Lamar Jackson, and they've been incredibly successful with their first-round draft picks and with their draft in general. I mean,
that's right.
I mean, you took Buffalo, that has one of the worst hit rates, as opposed to Baltimore, who also has an elite quarterback who has one of the best hit rates.
And you can't miss, right? Like, you're talking about, just for example, Dexter Lawrence, he's coming off a bad year, right? Injuries and all that. He may fit a need, but you can't miss with him if you do make a deal like that, and he's not the guy you expect him to be, especially with a defense that needs a hard-nosed nose tackle.
All right, so, Coach, you've been in these – you're the only one of the three of us who've actually been in these war rooms. You've traded up, you've traded out, you've traded down. Do you have a favorite around the draft story? Because you did trade for one of the best defensive players.
Yeah, well, there were three different scenarios where we traded for a first-round draft pick, traded up in the first round, or traded back in the first round. If we can bring up the graphics. So these are the situations. My first year there, we traded John Abraham to Atlanta, and then we ended up picking Nick Mangold. Nick had 7 Pro Bowls. The next year, we had a deal with Carolina in place the night before the draft where he said, look, if our guy is there, this is what our compensation will be. They agreed to the compensation. The guy was Darrelle Revis. He was sitting there when we wanted to draft. We made the trade, which was done the night before, and pick up Revis, so he goes to the Hall of Fame. And then when I was in Cleveland, Alex Mack was a guy that we liked and we had targeted, but it was too high where we were drafting initially. We had the 5th overall pick. So we ended up trading back 3 different times, saved $37 million from where he was slotted to where we took him, picked up extra draft picks, and that ended up, 7 Pro Bowls as well. So, I mean, 21 Pro Bowls.
I mean, those are your three?
That's a flex.
Those are the first-round draft picks.
What a ridiculous graphic. I did it 3 times. I won all 3 of them, and on one of them, I got one of the best defensive players ever.
That's the real question. Why?
Because I want to hang out with you.
Oh, okay. That's really nice of you, Coach. And you traded up for a ticket to Revis Island. You didn't know Revis was going to be that, though.
I felt pretty good about where Revis was. That's why we decided to try. Look, can you project a guy who's going to be in the Hall of Fame? You're always hoping when you draft a guy high that he's going to be that successful, but he checked every box and it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys, the problem is, not to be redundant, man, we treat them as guarantees when they're really just controlled assets, and that's where we have to be careful, especially when, Coach, that's a hell of a hit list, so I can't.
It's really, it's a great
Look, I had a pretty big miss, too, with another guy, Vernon Golston, who didn't work out.
You left him off the graphic.
Yeah, we probably should have traded out of that pick. We actually had a chance to trade back to 10. We would have taken Gerard Mayo. That probably would have worked out.
Well, listen, you
that
can't.
was the miss.
Get them all.
Didn't put that one on the graphic.
Yeah, well, I understand. Tune in tomorrow, day 5 of the OT front office. We're putting on my general manager hat. We're going inside the war room for the Chiefs. They got to nail that top 10 pick for Patrick Mahomes. That's tomorrow on the OT.
I ask them a question like this all the time. Hey, do you like chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream? Okay, the minute a kid pauses, I don't really want that kid, right? Because you need to have some type of conviction, right, wrong, or indifferent. Okay? So whether you like chocolate or you like vanilla, I don't really care. But if you sit there and say, Coach, I don't know. Is it melted? Is it not? What's the brand? So on and so forth. Like, what is this kid going to do on third down in front of 110,000?
I have a long-standing theory, Coach Mangini. Please do not take this the wrong way. But I believe all coaches, especially football coaches, are kind of insane. You're kind of crazy people. That is ridiculous. Koakaya, the quarterback coach of Oregon? Oh, chocolate or vanilla? I don't know. I like samples. Maybe today I want strawberry. Maybe I want it to be swirl. Now I can't play in front of 100,000 people?
Yeah,
it's insane.
Look, I wish I could operate in a world where it's just 2 decisions and one, A or B, and then you make the team. It doesn't work that way.
By the way, half-baked. Ben & Jerry's half-baked. Throw some raspberries in there.
Rocky Road.
It's Rocky Road. Perfect.